NOBODIES.
I mean, the way I found the scene was crazy.
Yeah, you were telling me again. So we're rolling already, but tell me again. You were saying about how you met Billy.
Yeah.
And then you guys just started doing shit
Well,
together.
so my whole story started. I grew up in Keene, Idaho,
Okay.
and I left like 3 days after graduating in 2005 for many reasons. But I got this job, door to door knocking, selling security systems. You know, the shit they get you. You can make a ton of money knocking on doors. So I left and went to Salt Lake, and from there I traveled around to like, I don't even remember how many cities we hit. There's like 30 something cities in a 4 or 5 year time span. And I was just door knocking, and I found electronic music in Florida and then in Georgia in the clubs. And I was always fascinated by it. I'm like, I've never heard this. I don't know what this is. Like, I was a rap kid on a dairy farm. I liked rap growing up and country music.
Rap.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, growing Keene, Idaho, dude, you're on a dairy farm. My mom doesn't want me to listen to rap music.
Yeah.
We have the rest of the family all around us is all Mormons. So, you know, they try and guide you when you're around people like that. So I had rap CDs that I would hide and listen to them. So that's all I knew. And then start traveling the country, being some 18-year-old young guy that don't know shit from Keene, Idaho. I mean, and tell people you're from Keene, Idaho. They're like, what the fuck is that? You know? But anyway, so I was traveling and I'd hit these bigger cities. And I remember the first time I really saw a DJ DJing, playing music like live on turntables was at a beach in Florida. We were just walking the beach and party on the beach. And I see this DJ and shit. I'm like, what the hell? And then the music. And I'm like, at first I hated it. I was like, what is just repetitive shit? Like boom, 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 boom. And then you start talking to people. And I really think what it is with electronic music is not the music. You can't tell me that you could sit there for 24 hours and just, you know, it's really not all the music. But I started talking to all the people around. They were awesome. I started catching like their energy. Then I started like a couple hours into the night. I'm like, find myself just knocking around the speakers. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Looking at the DJ like, fuck yeah. Found myself going around the back and like staring at what he's doing. Like I was enthralled, you know. Then I started chasing that. And being not from Florida, I just started asking people at clubs or random people like, hey, where can I find music that's like bang, bang, bang? You know, like trying to describe to them, you know. Exactly. They're like the clubs. You got to go to the clubs. And so I started going to these clubs and I got addicted. It was just nuts, man. The energy, just everything about it, which we all know. And then I decided to quit all of that. The Mormons were freaking getting up my ass, trying to get me to just like convert and do all these things. And I was just sick of it. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back home now. I've been gone for a few years. And I came back to Idaho and I was just like obsessed with this music. And I thought, nobody in Idaho listens to this shit. So when I first got back, it was just me finding music on the internet and just enjoying it myself. And then I got a wild hair and I was like, okay, I got to find other people here. There's got to be some people here that like this music.
This is like 15 years ago?
08.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe like 18, yeah. Like
So I put out an ad on, it was either Craigslist or one of those sites. I just put an ad up and I'm like, hey, looking for electronic music, blah, 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 blah. And Zach Peterson, his name is Zach Lander, was his DJ name, wrote me a message. And he's like, yeah, we're DJs and blah, 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 blah. Like, you should come and hang out and come check out these parties. And Shredtastic McNasty, I think it was the name of the party. And Billy Heath was throwing it with his partners. And it was down at CenturyLink Arena where they had the hockey games. And at that point in time, I had only been listening to the music at my house on speakers and like having friends over. And even at that time, I didn't even know what the party drugs were. So we were just listening to the music, drinking beer.
You're just listening to it sober.
Yeah. You know? So, anyways, this party's coming up. So we go down to CenturyLink Arena. And I just remember that first night of finding the people here. I was like, holy shit, they do exist. And these are the people. And like that party was fucking insane to me because it's Idaho. So then I meet Billy that night and I'm just like enthralled by him because he's the party promoter. This is his party. And I'm like, this guy's fucking awesome, you know? And so I started meeting all those guys and dude, from there, it just like became an obsession of mine of throwing the party.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that's like throwing the party. And dude, the scene politics back in the day too, like that's a whole nother fucking thing. because like Billy and those guys, they were cool.
Yeah.
But Idaho was going through some shit back then, with the crack house law and the rave acts.
Interesting.
They had gotten a bunch of parties busted early on in like 04. Yeah. Well, so I find these guys after they have, because Billy had been in the scene for a long time. A bunch of them guys had been. So I find all them, and they had just gone through years of police cracking down and busting parties and taking their turntables and doing all this stuff.
Were they doing like how raves were they did out in like the like warehouses and stuff?
Like have a geocache out there.
Yeah, like you would know.
That's what they were doing.
Because I had been to one of those when I came to Idaho.
Yeah.
There's some warehouse out kind of like by those old stores, those
I know what you're talking
outlet
about.
malls or whatever.
What
Somewhere
year?
out there.
What year?
I moved up here like 2011, so it was about that.
So I know exactly what warehouse it was, and I know exactly who was throwing those parties.
That's crazy.
So,
So that was like what I had kind of understood then later to be, that's the rave, like the underground.
Yes.
Like it's not a rave, but it's at a big show or whatever.
Well, see, and that's the other thing too, is like the dynamic of that time in Idaho. Again, they're all going through, they have been devastated through the years of the cops trying to bust all their parties. They don't trust people. They think everybody's an undercover cop. I mean, I literally went through that with Billy and Chris G. Rest his soul. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Also, you don't look like a raver, so they're like sus.
Oh, dude.
They're like,
dude.
What is this guy doing?
No, straight up. It's straight up. So Zach Lander and me got together and we started, like, he was teaching me how to make music. He was from Chicago. Like, he was very interesting to me because I'm like, this guy actually knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to the music. And then he got me interested in producing and doing all that. But he started bringing me around to the parties at Billy's house and other people's houses. And I did not look like the typical prototypical rave kid. I never have.
Yeah.
And so, I remember distinctly being brought to these parties and like, I got kicked out of one of the parties. I'm high as shit on acid at the time. So, and I'm like, they think I'm a cop? What? Bro, I can't handle this.
Do you not see my pupils?
No, dude, like, I was like, I can't handle this right now. But if they want me to leave, like, okay, let's go somewhere else, So during that time in the scene, it was very weird. I wouldn't use the term tumultuous. It was just like, it seemed very guarded, you know? So I was like, okay, fuck that. If they think I'm a cop, I'm not going to deal with that shit, and I'm going to start throwing my own parties.
Right.
So I started throwing desert raves out in Kuna, out in the middle of the desert.
What? Oh, yeah, that one. Wait. Oh, when you click 3, it doesn't go?
Sorry,
wait, will you click that?
No,
you're all good. Will you click that red flashing button? I think you might have just hit that. Huh.
Oh, sorry, I should just wipe hand until that.
So that is that. Oh no, there is 3. I think it's just this one needs to like get turned off somehow. Yeah, so probably just bump this one, but now you have them.
Gotcha. No, you're good.
Hey!
Clap.
Sometimes when I'm like editing through, I don't know if like I'll try to edit out. Oh yeah, like I forgot to tell you that like if you need to take a piss or whatever, just like this is so fucking free form. No, like there's no rules, right? But so normally I'll try to edit out like piss break, and then every once in a while I'll scroll through and I'll miss one, and there was one you could just hear me fucking.
That's actually hilarious. Oh,
like,
the mic.
Yeah, because I'm like standing in there, and then was that Sheila's or that might have been somebody else, but I was like, whatever, I missed one. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's funny. No, so like I was saying, I didn't really want to be involved in what was going on in Idaho at the time. I was like, these people are scared of cops, scared of fucking drugs, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna throw parties. So we started doing them in the Kuna Desert, and like anywhere we could throw a party.
Yeah.
Was what we were doing. And I ended up getting a house in Kuna, started throwing parties at the house out there where we would literally like cover the blind, cover everything in sheets, dark the house out, and party for like 2-3 days straight.
Yeah. You just have DJs.
Yeah.
And,
just, at that time, I was learning turntable and stuff. It was anybody that could play music. I was like, just come.
Yeah.
Come, and if you can play on these turntables or you can play music, then you're in, And so we would do it for like 2 or 3 days. Neighbors started getting pissed. Cops were getting pissed in Kuna. And they knew me from growing up out there. I had a pretty unique childhood out there with my mom being pretty popular in town. But they all knew who I was.
Oh.
And it got to a point, we threw a party out in the desert one time. It's like 700 people showed up. It was fucking insane. And we had a bonfire that was fucking unreal. Like we brought so many pallets and wood out there and we stacked it so high. When we lit it, it was fucking very unsafe. And people from town saw this fucking bonfire, I guess, and thought the desert was on fire. So cops, fire engine, everything just fucking came on this party.
No.
And they realized when they got there that there were so many fucking people, and it's the desert, you know, and like people were trying to escape when they saw the cops. And we always told people, like, don't fucking escape or run because they're waiting for you down there at the exit.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so that night distinctly, the cops all come up and I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to deal with them. To me, it was like too those
Yeah.
Even as the guy that through the party, I was like, okay, this is fucking too much. I don't want to talk to these cops. So I hid behind a sagebrush bush.
Never talk to cops.
And
they'll just go away.
Dude, I could hear them like, hey, who's responsible for this party? And everybody kept saying my damn name. And I'm like,
oh my God, you fuckers.
Fuck, you know, and I can hear all this stuff going on. Well, eventually there was other people there that were talking to the cops that were friends of mine. And they were just like, hey, you know, like, what do you guys want us to do or whatever? They're like, well, 1, nobody leave. 2, get that fucking fire down, you know?
Wow.
And 3, we're going to be down on the road waiting for you guys. So if anybody leaves, it's on them. And
you're like, we're not leaving for 3 days.
Yeah, dude. And like, it got to the point where the cops came to my house one time and told me, they're like, dude, you got to stop doing this, man. Like, it's cool that you want to do this and provide fun for people and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's getting to a point where your parties are getting too known. It's a safety hazard. It's dangerous, you know? And they're like, you need to go and like talk to these clubs, start throwing events in clubs and
get to get in.
Yeah, and spaces and stuff. And so that's why I started going to clubs. And I remember the first place I went to was called the Limelight in Meridian, Idaho. And it was like some old man opened up a dance studio with like 3 different rooms and like mirrors everywhere and all this shit for like ballet and real dance, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't having much success with it. And so I came to him and I was like, look, dude, I could bring a lot of people here and you could make money off of us just partying in these dance spaces.
Yeah.
So he let us do it. We started doing those. Those took off. I still was doing underground parties because I had just a love for it.
Yeah.
So we were still doing stuff like out at people's houses out in Emmett and anywhere where there was just big acreage.
Right.
So we were doing a bunch of underground stuff. And really what it was back then for me was I loved the party.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go for days and just be having fun. Didn't care. And was escaping reality a lot too back then and didn't really want to have real responsibility.
But it is funny how that like, yeah, but then it also like, it's funny how like, there's like the pros and cons of like, cause I'm a degenerate for sure. And like, and I'll get too lost in the sauce sometimes, but like you found this huge, like long-term thing that you did just by like, oh, I escaped to reality. I found music. I found connection with the K, you know, like you found all this stuff and this community and all, you know, so it is interesting how it's not all bad, you know, when you just try to escape from some shit.
To be honest with you, dude, like, you know, now I'm older, I'm 38. I know a lot more about myself. I've had my mental fucking breakdown. I've had health issues. I've had all these things happen to me. So the last 5 years of my life has been all about self-reflection on what has happened in the past, and why I was the way I was, why I did things the way I did things, why I was a promoter. I mean, fucking nobody in my life ever would have thought that, like, that's what I would have done, you know? And I don't even think anybody would have told you, like, oh, I for sure saw Brandon doing this in life. Because I was just a degenerate with no guidance as a kid. I love my mom to death. I don't talk to her anymore. That's, you know, her deal. But I was raised by a mom who was single, could never figure her shit out.
Yeah.
I saw chaos my whole life.
Yeah.
And so my life was chaos. And you don't understand those types of traumas when you're that age.
Right.
You know, and like,
it's your life.
Yeah, it's your life. So then as I'm going, you know, getting older, become this promoter, I think that that's my path. Like, this is my path. Like, this is fucking what I'm about. I'll be the first to admit it these days. I don't even know. why I ended up doing that for so long.
Yeah.
There is a catalyst to Konnexion, the festival,
Mm.
but like to be a party promoter and all of that. One, I'd never realized I had social anxiety like a motherfucker. For real.
Really?
Dude, bad.
That's wild.
I had anxieties. I had so much fears. And like, I'm a DJ too, right?
Yeah.
The whole DJing thing, every fucking time I had to go play a show. In my mind, I was looking for ways out of that the day it would come. I don't want to go up and get in front of all these people. I don't want to go up and be on stage.
Really?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's weird to tell people this. But yeah, I was social anxiety and nervousness. And like some people would tell you, I've heard a lot about myself. You know, when you become a promoter around town, you hear people's opinions of you and all of that. And you know, oh, he's an asshole. He's got an ego. He's this, he's that. The fucking realities of it all is like, I am terrified of all of you. I am like, I don't want to be around you guys. So people used to ask me like, why are you always in the backstage? Why aren't you out here having fun? I'm like, oh, you know, I just have a lot of shit to do. No, it's because I was going through terroristic fucking anxiety inside of myself.
That's wild.
It's crazy to tell that to people. And they're like, we can't believe that you're the guy and you're going through all of that mentally. I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking get it either, man.
Yeah.
But that all started making sense over the last 5 years. It was all just trauma stuff, you know, that I didn't realize. But now that I have a grasp on it, everything makes sense, you know?
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's what, yeah.
So, and for what it's worth too, being a promoter, man, like everybody thinks you're the shit. When in reality, you have a lot of shit in your life and you're going through a lot of the same things that the people coming to these shows are going through, you know?
Fuck asking for a +1 when you have money in your fucking pocket.
Bro.
I'm like, I've been on a fucking +1 list and I've also been like, oh, hey, thank you for this free drink because it's a broke ass bitch.
Yeah.
But like, don't ask for homie just because you're doing this.
So that was a part that got to me was I had so many friends in the worst times of my life. That saying, you know, is like, man, I had all these people around me for all this time, and like, it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, what can you do for me type of thing.
Especially like I would imagine as a promoter, you're like, oh yeah, he can get me into these shows.
Yeah. You know how many times I stood at a door at events that we threw at clubs, standing at the door. And fuckers walk up to the door and be like, oh yeah, Brandon Lee said blah, blah, blah. Or Brandon Lee put me on the list or whatever. And I'm like, just looking at them like, they don't even realize, they don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm standing right fucking here.
Right.
And they're trying to tell these people that I said these things. You know what I mean? So the dynamic of all of that, dude, was just, mentally it was fucking hard being a promoter, dude. It really was. And to balance like I'm saying, the social anxieties and all the shit that I have, to have that and then go out and be the face of like these events that you're doing and stuff.
That's wild.
Fucking nuts. And like all these people coming up to you and like, I appreciate everyone. I really do. And I'm a very, like I would tell everybody, I'm a humanist. I fucking love everyone and I care about everyone. I want everyone to have a good time. But the people in your face all the time and like, you know, always wanting to communicate and talk to you and all that stuff, it was a fucking chore.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the night, sometimes with throwing events, I felt like I just worked a 20-hour shift.
Yeah.
Because the energies and like the communication and like the handling all the problems, the, you know, and then all the work previous to even getting there. I literally like sometimes felt like I was in like a car wreck, you know, and you go home at the end of the night and you feel success. You feel like, oh, that was great. Saw a lot of people having a good time. But sometimes there's just a lot of shit that comes with after a party. You know, money losses and.
Yeah, you're like, I worked a 20-hour shift, but I didn't make any money.
I just lost thousands, you know? And like, it was a gift and a curse, dude. Like, I can't say that it was all bad and it was all terrible. I had a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that I got to do and experience and industry people I got to meet and talk with. And I even still have, you know, friendships from it all.
Yeah.
But I look back at my promoting career as like, I didn't understand myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing it all for, besides the main reason why I lasted as long as I did doing it was because Zach Peterson, him and his wife passed away And he and her were creating a festival for the community because aesthetic was dying and going away. And then they ended up dying. And watching what happened to their dream and their festival from the investor of their event, who was some fucking doctor who was a jackass who basically destroyed it all, right?
Yeah.
Became egotistical after they died, took over the event, kicked all of his friends to the side. Was like, oh, I don't need you guys. It's like, motherfucker, we're the ones that like were with him building this, you know? So after all that collapsed and went away, it was like, I knew I had to do something for the community for him because that's what he wanted to do. So dude, like Konnexion only lasted as long as it did with me in charge of it and running it because.
So that's how it started then. So after he had died and his wife, then you kickstarted. You're like, all right, well then.
Yeah. I had no plans of fucking being a promoter, man. Like throwing the parties and the club shows was fun. It was awesome. It was cool. I'm glad everybody got to have a lot of excitement and, you know, look forward to something to do within the scene. But I would have never ended up with a festival. I would have never ended up, you know, with another 10 years of my life as a promoter. We were producing music. Like we were trying to become producers, DJs, get on stages and go and play festivals.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what me and him were trying to do. And some of our other friends, we started a label, Dark Science, and we were trying.
That's a good name.
Yeah. And so that was the path we were going to be on. And then when he passed away and all that shit happened and everything went cattywampus, it was just like this thing. It was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking stand up for him and we're going to do something for the community that's going to, you know, evolve around what him and his wife's ideas were. Because, dude, we fucking take shrooms and sit in their room, just me, him, and his wife in their bed, and just talking about like, what does a festival look like for this community? Like, what do we want to see? You know, blah, blah, blah. And like, what do we think the people would like? So we had those conversations, you know, and so to see it all get kind of stripped away from the community, them being, you know, passed on, it was like, who's going to pick this up, you know?
Yeah.
So
that was probably what, like 2013,
2012.
They passed away. You skipped a year or two, right, of Konnexion or something.
They passed away in 2011, and we officially started Konnexion in 2013.
Yeah, because I moved here in 2011, I think.
Yeah.
11.
So Massive was the name of their festival they were doing. That happened the year they died, and then one more year. Yeah. Yeah. Then it was one more year. Then they fucked all that up, and so then I was like, okay, we got to get. And there's a promoter in the scene, Tim Beck.
I know Tim.
Yeah.
So
he.
Shout out Tim. He says he's gonna listen to this podcast.
Well, you better.
He's like, dude, I keep telling myself I'm gonna listen to your podcast.
Fucking
and he's
better.
Like, and he'll be like, I'll see him out, and he's like, oh man, this is like a sign because I just saw you post it.
So Tim is like one of the greatest people I know in the scene. A lot of people have their own opinions about him, but I know him to be like one of the truest, bluest, greatest, just amazing people. He's much like myself. We suffer from like ADHD and all. Dude, I vibe with him because he is very much like me. We'll forget stuff, you know, but me and him, we vibe like that. But anyways, he is who teamed up with me to do the first Konnexion.
Okay.
And what the plan was for the first one and why we called it Konnexion, me personally, I have a thing with like changing the name of something or using a word but not having the letters, you know? So he wanted to connect the Utah. We were trying to connect a couple scenes that year. So we booked a bunch of DJs from other states, tried to get them to come all to a festival. So Konnexion was like the name that, I'll be honest with you, he thinks he came up with it. I'm pretty sure I did, but
we were on mushrooms.
Yeah, like either fucking way. That's how the name came. So me and him through the first year together. The second year, he was going through a lot of shit in his life.
Sorry, where did you do the first year?
Kasota Park in Burley, Idaho.
Oh shit.
Kasota Springs.
Burley.
Dude, fucking 2.5 hours away. The dumbest shit I ever could have done in my fucking life was throw a festival so far away from my home base.
Yeah.
That was a fucking nightmare.
2.5 isn't bad, but 2.5 is bad when you're not going somewhere pretty. We were like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the Salty.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm in the Salty.
Well, and then just the logistics of it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude. Anyways,
yeah, you live and you learn.
you did. And then that first year, dude, we're setting up for it, and we get fucking shellacked with like this crazy fucking thunder rainstorm, like lightning striking around us. And we're like, the trees on that property were super small at the time, so there wasn't a lot to hide from. We're just fucking hiding under these small ass trees, trying to finish setup. It was nuts.
Oh my God.
But after that first year, he was going through a lot of life stuff. I forced the issue of like, well, whatever you're going through, I'm still doing this. Like, this is, I'm fucking going. This was my idea. I wanted to run, so we're going to do it anyways. And we just kept going. And be honest too, like a lot of it didn't fucking happen because of just me. Like, Konnexion lost a lot of money the first couple of years, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything I could. I was working my ass off, spending all my money on, debts and everything.
Yeah.
I was borrowing. I was stupid about it, to be honest with you. If I could go back with what I know now and the experience I have now, I would be so much better off. But I didn't know jack shit.
Yeah.
Admittedly, and I would tell people that. They're like, how are you pulling this all off? I don't fucking know. I'm writing emails to people. I'm going to fucking websites, finding artists. Okay, I'll write him. Like, I don't fucking know.
Don't apologize for not knowing before you should. Before you have like a reason to know. Like,
there's another side.
I know that I'm not trying to talk too much, but a lot of people will be like, "Oh, why am I going to pay so much for this local festival?" And I'm like, "You want to go? Like, if you were to break their job down as salary or hourly, as far as like service and putting in the work and volunteering, how many personal loans have been going out, how much time and dedication, and then the artist, right, and then the permits and the space, and the vendors and the everything." And so I think of a lot of times people's bottom line, this is the amount of money that goes into having your good time.
Yeah.
That people that they don't why am I paying so much? And I'm like, well, have you thought about it?
Yeah. Well, I learned so much.
Yeah.
People forget how much goes into it, right? I had to fucking convince counties. I had to go and have meetings with public officials and mayors and cops, and I did the whole time again.
Luckily, you look like a cop,
so basically, right? That was my thing. I will always say I looked enough of normal that we were able to pull some shit off. Because if some of these hippie people out here that
if you showed up,
fuck, dude, they showed up wearing their posh minas and smelling like fucking patchouli and all that shit.
I love it.
Probably gonna have an issue. So those first couple of years, we're just fucking doing it. The county meetings we're having, there was fucking literally, I can't remember what county it was. They created laws based around us because we came, did the festival, and then they're like, well, now we got to try and figure out how we can just tell them no based on laws. So they put shit in, implement it. I mean, shit, we were in 6 different counties over the years. I had to meet and do so much bullshit that nobody really knows about, right? Like you were saying, they don't know what really goes into it. The core group of people that are helping, they understand, but nobody really genuinely knows the hours that I would drive to the middle of fucking nowhere to have meetings, all the gas money that you spend, the phone calls, the artists, dealing with all of them. I mean, it's hundreds of people for a long period of time to herd these cats for one weekend.
Right.
And so I mentally killed myself a lot. I put myself in terrible financial situations. There was years where I would tell people hey, we're not doing this anymore. And they'd be like, no, what do you need? Well, we're $30,000 in debt.
Right.
And I can't afford to pay it all off. And so there's a lot of people in the community and the scene that were a part of it all.
Yeah.
That would keep it going. You know what I mean? And come and be like, hey man, we really love this. It's got to keep going. What do we got to do? And I would tell them, and they would support and they would help. And so really it lasted as long as it did because the community, and the way I could have, again, not knowing what the fuck I was doing back in the day, I could have really taken this festival and commercialized it. We could have taken it the route of, well, fuck, USA is becoming commercialized with this now. Let's really try and make some money off of it. But I truly believed in the principles of what we started it for, what my buddy Zach started it for, aesthetic, the underground scene in Idaho, and really what raves and EDM music and that stuff was. It was not a commercialized thing. It was for, I don't even know what word to use here, not degenerates of society, but the weirdos. And some people would look at that term as, that's a bad term. No.
Counterculture.
Counterculture, weirdos, the fucking people in society who are not normal, you know, or who are not going to band together to run down this capitalistic path with everybody else. Because that's the reality of the EDM scene. I got to see it over the years. It's a bunch of us who are just exploring ourselves, exploring this world, and don't want to be involved in the quote unquote sheep, I guess you would say. And I also feel like a lot of the scene too was a lot of people like me that grew up with crazy, fucked up, weird childhoods or have traumas from their past and they feel like they don't fit in. Or, you know, I looked at the EDM scene as my group of weirdos that they were like me. We all shared in these, whatever it was, but we were not normal people in the sense of society standards, you know? And I loved that. That's what I loved about it. And, even still to this day, man, like you're never going to meet a more unique set of people than you're going to at a fucking EDM festival.
It is wild. And I I only got into, I guess, the scene from Cinda, but I used to date this chick, Maggie, and she was into like going to shows at Fatties. And like Thursday nights, etc. She took me to Aesthetic once. That was before I was into it. And as a musician, I hated on it at first because I was like, oh, they're up there pushing buttons. They're not playing real music. And like that was kind of how I said shit. But in general, musicians were like, we were always like weirdos. And, you know, like I didn't want to get the house and the white picket fence and the, you know, like the marriage and kids. I know like everybody has their different like you know, lifestyles, but I always found myself the contrarian. I was like, I'm going to chase music. I'm going to do art. I want to do things differently, you know, and then I left religion and all this stuff. But so it is interesting, like getting into the EDM scene because you're like, oh yeah, it is for like a very eclectic group of weirdos and just people that don't feel like they may fit in like a standard society.
I would honestly say too, and like I'm pretty blunt, you know, some people would probably be like, okay, well, you'd fucking say that. But I've told people this, especially on my mental health journey that I've had recently. But there's a lot of mental health problems in the scene as well, where people don't understand what they're going through, or they're looking for their people or whatever. And again, they find the weirdos. And sorry if you hate me for using that term, but we are weirdos in the scene. Creative weirdos. We all, you know, it's a good thing. But I found that there's a lot of people running around in the scene that eventually find, well, how would I equate this? It's like a level, right? You have the babies in the scene. You got the people that have been there for 5-10 years. You got the 10 to 20 year vets in there. And then you got the people that have been there since the damn 70s who kind of wrapped the...
Shout out all back
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you have this like dynamic of so many different stages of life all within this one scene that the young kids start developing the friendships with the older people. The older people start guiding them with like, hey, you know, this is cool. But maybe don't binge on Coke for 4 days straight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
COVID fucked this up. I think that like before our scene was a little bit more fucked up, but I think COVID honestly fucked a lot of shit up in our scene where it was like less community driven and less afters. Because the afters are really where like good friendships are formed.
Fuck yeah.
It's not about debauchery. That's when you get to talk to people.
Yep.
So I think COVID fucked this up a lot.
The afters, it's funny you mention the afters because it really ties into what I just said is like the scene is a family. Big fucking family. Sometimes it takes a long time for you to just kind of like make your way into I wouldn't even call them cliques. I hate that term, cliques, but it kind of tribes,
Well,
you kind of make your way into like these little tribes of people and you end up at these little after party house parties and one room they're in there talking about deep real life fucking crazy shit and another room they're in there talking about, you know, fucking like but like mentally, I felt like I got helped a lot. I got forced into counseling through the scene. Like people telling me like, hey, you know, counseling's okay. Like therapy's okay and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Me as a dude who hangs out around mostly men who are like hardcore Republican fucking, I'm a shit kicking, you know, cowboy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, you're really not, but being around those types of people, you kind of get this like sense of like, I don't need fucking shit. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah. I don't talk about my feelings.
Yeah, I don't talk about my feelings. Well, the scene was so, you know, at the end of what I was involved in, the scenes what made me go to counseling,
Mm-hmm.
talking to other people that did it and like made it not as scary to me.
Yeah.
Not that counseling should be scary. I mean, you're legit.
Not as heavy.
Yeah. It is also scary, like for blue collar guys in general, but like, oh yeah, you've never talked about your feelings. You don't open up this box. And so that can be scary. Just like, oh, I got to open up this box.
Yep.
You know, like we've all seen Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah. Right.
It's just like, you want to open up this fucking box. So yeah.
Well, and I think, I don't know, for what it's worth, in the blue collar construction world or whatever, these men like all day long, they're just doing hard ass work. You know, it's like you're in grind mode all the time. When is their time? Like, are you going to go just talk to this other dude with a shovel about your problems? Like, probably not, you know? Right. So it's been cool ever since I've started, you know, fixing my mental health and undoing all these fucking childhood traumas that I have, because those are real. Anybody that denies them, fucking wrong. Childhood trauma is a real thing. Men, women, it don't matter. It's real. So when I started unpacking all of that, I started talking about it more on my job sites and like, you know, with other dudes. And some guys, you know, they kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know, wander off. But then other guys, they're like intrigued by it. They're like interested. They start listening, and you can look at them and be like, you probably have some unpacked trauma, bro. Like, you should probably talk about it. I'll talk with you about it if you want, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that's how I feel with, because I feel like our generation, you said you're 38, I'm 39.
Yeah.
So our dads or parents, and then their it's like Depression era grandparents, and then they pass on our dads. So it's just like, yeah, you don't talk about feelings.
Yeah.
I'm also from the East Coast. You're closed off as fuck. Like, it's very cold. And I was more the emotional one of my family, and then I've just like learned over time to like, let like shit out. But the only way that I try to convince my friends to open up about emotions and shit, I'm like, I'm not going to dig it out of them, but I just share my shit.
For sure.
And that's like, I'm like, oh, let me show you that this is all right.
Yeah.
I can still do big boy shit, and I can also talk about feelings or
For sure.
drama. And then the more I do it, I can see some other friends like, oh yeah, it's okay to fucking.
And I love that about like this younger generation. You know, everybody shits on this younger generation. I think they're on to something. I'm not like totally into everything they're about, but
I don't like their TikToks.
Well, TikToks. But this younger generation, like, I'm involved in football. So I started a team out here in Idaho in 2009 called the Black Tide with a buddy, Carson Russell. And the team still runs to this day. I'm still involved with it. Like, it's awesome. It's another thing that I've created in my life or been a part of creating that's still around and
that's cool.
Has longevity. And, you know, I take pride in that type of stuff. It's like I've gotten to create and be a part of some things that have lasted, which I don't think a lot of people in life really get that. So this better last a long time, just saying, because nobody's podcast could be it.
I know,
in
right?
the future.
Can we take a break? Because I gotta check on this. I struggle with perfectionism. And it's just figuring out like how much work you need to put into something. And if I over perfectionalize it, I won't do it.
I hear it.
So I'll be like, all right, so, you know, it needs to look, I mean, that's why I waited 2.5 years before I put this podcast out. Because I was like, well, it needs to have video and it needs to have this and I need to have the lights. And it was just all like fear of not looking good.
Yeah,
you know,
I hear
put shit out.
I mean, that society is built to make people fear, I believe. Like, everybody should just do what they want to do. Just do it.
And the only way to get better at something is to do it.
Do it. 100%.
Like you were saying about like starting like promotions of the festival, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know. I read a lot of like stuff from people that are successful business people or just entrepreneurs or whatever. And they're like, it is better to run full force in the opposite direction of what helps you than to just sit stationary.
100%.
And he's like, because then you'll realize, oh, whoops, went the wrong way on that one. Now I can course correct.
Yeah.
And
that's 100% true. Like, based on like we were talking about with my football stuff and, you know, being a part of that and then starting Konnexion and stuff. I had no fucking idea what we were doing or what I was supposed to do. And you read and you listen to people and blah, blah, blah. But you're never going to fucking get anywhere unless you just do.
Yeah.
And fail.
Yeah.
Failure is a big thing for me. having the childhood that I had, and I don't want to talk too much about that because it's like my mom, and
sure.
Like I said, I love her and it's her own thing that she has to deal with. So, but I was raised with this fear of rejection, this fear of never anything being right. Some kind of like a perfectionist type of thing, but I never took it that far. And so I was scared to do a lot of things. Like Konnexion could have been bigger and better than it was, but I was scared. I was also scared of giving up control. I was also scared of like, well, if I let somebody take this over and it fucks up, it's still on me. And
yeah.
So fear drove me for a long fucking time, and it ruined a lot of my life. I wouldn't say ruined. It held me back a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're 39, I'm 38. At 38 years old,
dude, I'm still dealing with it. There's still these like I want to think. I mean, dude, doing a podcast has helped me tackle a lot of fears because you literally are putting the dumb shit you say out. Like everyone can see you. They can. They hear how annoying my voice sounds. They see what a nerd I am. Like there's all of these things and then I just kept putting it out. Like, okay, so I'm finally good at, I don't care what people think. And then it'll just fucking slap me in the face again. And I'm like, oh, I still care, don't I? Or I'm still afraid.
It still gets me, man. Like, I've been living on this whole thing. I tell all my friends and stuff that I'm living day to day on this basis of like, it does not matter. Whatever I want to do, I'm going to do. Even Konnexion this year. I had to pep talk myself. I'm the guy that created the fucking event. I had been there every fucking year. I have done it so many times.
Yeah.
But even just this year, going back up there again to play a final set there and like do all these things, I had to pep talk myself before I got out of the fucking truck. Like, dude,
your last time was so good.
Thank you.
Hey, so good.
But I had to pep talk myself of like, dude, you're getting out of this fucking truck. You're going to go and you're going to experience your festival that you created. You're going to see everything. You're going to walk around. You're not just going to sit in the back of the green room and just fucking sit there. And I did. I forced myself to do it, and I had a fucking blast. Like, it was awesome. So, yeah, fear holds people back from so much, dude. Think about these people that sit in their houses and can't leave their houses because of the fear they have.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
How fucking insane!
It is.
And we're experiencing a fear on a level, right? But they're experiencing fear on a fucking.
Well, and that I feel like a lot of people. Maybe I'm talking out my ass in this one, but I do think that agoraphobics, it doesn't happen overnight. Like it's like, oh, they let an anxiety of public get the best of them. Now they're letting it get more of the best of them. And then they a little bit more hermit, a little bit more hermit. And then it becomes overwhelming. Whereas like, oh, I can't even leave now. But it is like a progression.
Yep. Well,
I'm terrified to let myself do that. That's why I'm like, yeah, you can have a little bit of fear, but like you cannot let this fucking dictate your life. Like I have to tackle this.
Well, so like my health issue that I came down with about 4 or 5 years ago was brain stuff, mitochondria, neurons. And so I started getting even more fears of like, oh, am I going to die today? Am I going to this? Am I going to do that? And so like it got to a point where the pharmaceuticals they had me taking and all this other stuff, it was like destroying my brain. It was making me suicidal. It was like just craziness. So I cut all that stuff out. And it was like a year-long journey of just like writing stuff down and telling myself like, you have to get rid of the anxieties, the fears, all these things, because exactly what you just said. I feel like once you let it win once, you let it win again, you let it win again, and it just progressively gets worse. And the human mind is a fucking fragile fucking thing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like what I've learned about myself and what the position I'm able to put myself in now mentally with a lot more clarity and things like that, I'm fucking terrified of what my brain could do. You know what I mean? Of what I've learned of myself and like where I was at when I found out about health issues and COVID was happening and life fell apart and all this shit. It was a pretty terrifying place to get, you know?
Yeah.
So cognitively, I think people, like you said, they let themselves slip and they let themselves slip again. And by the time, you know, you're on this slippery ass slope and then you're at the bottom and it's like so much harder to get back up from there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, we talked about a lot about like having what do we call it, the floor? It's like when you're dealing with a struggle, like all of these like behavioral practices aren't fix-alls. You know, it's like going for walks in the sunlight isn't going to fix your depression, but it might help with just a little
sure.
nudge. And then being in practice of healthy eating habits or activity or social structures, those aren't ever going to be a fix all for when like something hits up here, but you're like the floor is a little higher because you have some of these positive practices.
100%.
And so, yeah, it's still going to be rough, but you like are able to handle things better the more you have.
And I'm a testify to that, because that's basically been my journey the last 5 years. When I found out about my health issues, you know, we had just had my son. Like, I'm already going through it mentally as like, I'm a dad now. Like, what the fuck, you know? And that
was your first son?
Yeah. So I only have one kid. That's all I'll have. And so going through those health issues at that time, while also going through a major change in who I am as a person, it was chaotic. It was crazy. But, you know, I've learned a lot. I've changed my entire diet, because that was what I had to do for the health issues. But what I didn't realize is, like you said, it's all those little things.
Yeah.
And it took me, I had to literally break it down. I was so depressed for a period of time because, again, you do something for so long, it's who you are. And then when that is like taken from you, you know, COVID shuts your life down, your health issues, you're a dad, raising kids, shit went crazy. And I had to start doing things, small little steps here and there. You know what I mean? Like, just small things. And eventually, if you just stay consistent with those small things, like you say, your floor raises. You get, you know, a little bit better. And where I'm at now mentally, and like with my diet and like things that I choose to do for my mental health and my supplementing and everything, feel the best I've ever felt at 38 years old. You know what I mean?
Oh, good for you.
It's crazy. But who knows what happens in the next however long, you know? Like, I don't tell myself in my own head that like, oh, you've done it, man. You kind of figured out some of your shit. I still don't even feel like I've figured myself out completely, but I feel like I'm on a way better level.
Yeah.
You know? So I kind of like the way that you put that. Is like, you just got to raise that floor up a little bit, you know, to get to the ceiling, you know?
Yeah.
There is no ceiling.
Well, true.
It's like,
true.
Yeah, that's our, like, I have to constantly remind myself, just like, dude, that like I am very committed to a lifelong of learning or growing.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if I'm 70 and I think, okay, I got it figured out, then I probably can't learn anymore or grow anymore, because I think, oh, I've arrived.
100%.
So there's no arrival. It's just continued journey. And this is like, I've said about this all the time on the podcast, but it's so, I go in these like modes of just getting on myself. I'm like, like, when am I going to make it?
Yeah.
And then I have to constantly remind myself, like, dude, there's no making it. Like, there's no point of time in life where I'm like, I am happy now. I have got all the things.
Right.
Like, yeah, that might bring you a temporary happy, but then what? Like you're just gonna sit in that, you know, or you're gonna sit on the beach drinking Coronas for 3 years.
Right.
Like, it's nice for a week, but there's no level of money where you're like, okay, now I'm satisfied. I don't have to, you know, what?
Right.
But like, so there's always, the only times I'm like satisfied and enjoying my life and happy is the times I'm just growing and learning and progressing. So then when I get down on myself and being like, oh, I'm not there yet, I'm like, dude, there is no there.
Right.
Like, you're just enjoy this fucking journey the whole way.
So I must beat myself up for years of thinking like, when am I going to make it? Like, when am I going to blah, blah, blah? Like, I work so hard. I don't do everything right, but I do a lot of things right. And like, I'm listening to all this advice and then blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you're right. It's never going to be a point in your life. And if there is, maybe there is a point for some people where they're just like, you know what?
I lost your mic.
Oh, I genuinely feel that if, you know, some people could in their life maybe hit a spot where they're like, oh, okay, I'm satisfied, I'm done. But I don't feel like
done
those.
with what though?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, I'm not doing that. Now I'm done with work, so I have more time to spend with my family.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done with
Yeah,
this, so I have more to like. It's not doing like.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm done with this. I just have more. So I have more time and energy, resources for something else.
Yeah.
Like
there's a lot of
like
people.
You're done, like done running Konnexion.
Yeah.
But now they're done.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that their energy. They're not outputting.
We just are putting it towards other people.
Yeah.
And other things. Yeah.
You know, like you focus on other things.
Yeah. Well, and like, we'll use Konnexion as an example, right? There's some people running around this world that would like have been involved in something like that, got there, it's done now, and they would be satisfied for the rest of their life. Like, yeah, we did that, I was a part of that. none of us that were a part of Konnexion are satisfied with anything in life. You know what I mean? Like, we're all still trucking towards new goals, new ambitions and things. But I genuinely believe that in this life, you're never done until like your breath is out of you.
Yeah.
You know, you have opportunity every single day to learn, grow, create, make friendships, make the community better. One of the general purposes in life that I have now is like just going out and just making other people's days, whether that's just giving compliments to random people. The other day, I fucking randomly just, it's not my job. I get it. And sometimes it's weird to people. But like this dude's like cleaning out the trash cans at this garbage or Maverick over in Caldwell. And he's like taking all the trash, putting them in this thing. So I ran around to 2 trash cans, like pulled them all out, ran over and put them in his little thing. And I was like, hey, have a good day, man. He's like, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, well, you're done now. You know, like, so just stupid little shit like that is just.
Speaking of taking out the trash, Cinda is, she picks up trash. She's like last point of contact. And so she's like, you know.
Contact, even eye contact.
Yeah. So we walk by, she's like, oh, this is my responsibility. I saw it. You know, so she picks it up. And I was never that guy. I was not a guy who throws my shit. Like, I'm still pack it in, pack it out. Yeah. Like, I've been camping forever. You know, I'm from a farm. Like, I still respect the area. But going through an area and there's a bunch of trout, I'm like, I'm not getting that. You know, like, that was just me. And then, so she's rubbed off on me a lot. Yeah. But we were out camping, like, a couple weeks ago. And we were picking up firewood at this one area up at Arrow Rock. You know, there's a bunch of little pieces of trash. And she's like, can we take like an hour at some point and come and pick up some trash? And I was like, yes.
That's awesome, though.
But so then we go out there, like our second day camping, and I'm like walking back and I just see these huge bags of trash that were like kind of rotted out. And I was like, do you want to really get a lot of trash? I like point. She's like, holy fuck. So we had like 4 bags of trash just like pulling out of there.
That's fucking rad, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is so rad. Being a cool human is like a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
philanthropy feels good for a reason because it makes you want to do more good shit.
For sure.
So it's like, it's okay for it to feel good. Because it's like, yeah, I just helped that person.
For sure.
That's a good feel.
Well, and to be honest with you, like, build your fucking brain chemistry up. Like, go out there and make those dopamine hits. You know?
Be nicer. Like, give yourself good reasons to, like, have fun and, like, not just
for sure.
Sit, like,
yes. For sure. Speaking of handling depression, like, I think it's one of the best fixes is to like volunteer your time or help other people because, and I know, like I said, again, there's no fix all of some people have it way worse. Some people have it like just a little bit of the downs or whatever. But in general, when you were depressed, all you were thinking about is yourself.
It's a very selfish thing.
And so if you just go, hey, can I help this other person? Let me go help them. All of a sudden, that shit like makes you happier because you're outside of your own head and you're helping them. Yep. And so it's definitely. Have you watched Shameless?
Yes.
That's when like Lip was dealing with his alcoholism and he's like, oh, the problem, and he's just like, you need he's like, go help this other fucking kid and get out of your own head.
Yeah, you know? For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and like I was saying about the dopamine hit, that's a thing, right? Like that is a real thing in your brain chemistry. And you can get it through whatever outside substances, whatever, or you can get it naturally. And every human, I believe, unless you are just the biggest piece of shit on the planet and so far gone, every human gets enjoyment out of helping somebody else or seeing a smile from somebody else. Now, I get it. There are some just people out there that are just fucking assholes and would never do that. Yeah. But genuinely, I get it so much from it. Like just making somebody's day literally makes my day. And like now that I'm somewhat sober and that dopamine runs pretty heavy. Like it's like a noticeable effect when you're out there just doing stuff for other people. I've even been doing it in my contracting career right now with like concrete work. Yeah. I found this one lady. She's like a 92-year-old woman, blind or going blind. Yeah. And all these people are like, you know, she's on a walker now. She just needs to be able to get from her back door around her house to her garage door. Well, every fucking contractor she's talked to is, you know, charging her an ass ton of money because they don't care about her. Yeah. They're just there to get money. Yeah. I genuinely care about people. So I find this woman, I start talking to her, I say, what are your needs? You know, what's your budget? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I ended up just doing the whole damn job for cost for her. We didn't make any money on it. Yeah. But she has an awesome patio now. that she can get safely from door to door. She can still garden. She can do all the things that she wants in life.
Yeah.
And I made tons of referrals off of her.
Yeah.
But doing that for her, my whole week that week, I was just like on cloud nine. Like nobody could piss me off. It was just such a great feeling to know. And she calls me all the time. She's like, I'm like her little grandson now. And I check in on her. And then she introduced me to like the blind community. And I'm like, damn, there's a lot of blind people, like, yeah. So I've already done like 3 jobs for blind people who nobody would just like give them a freaking deal or understand or be human with them.
Yeah.
And I have gotten so much joy out of it and referrals and, things have gotten better in my life just because I'm putting that into the world. It's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Did you ever read that book?
The what?
The Go-Giver.
It's a short one. It's good.
It's,
you can, like, listen to it or read it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a person going back to what you're like, yeah, you can read all the books until you do.
Yeah.
And so I was on that train of I'll read and read and read, and Hermosi calls it what is it, learning porn or
like it's like a sometimes it's like
preparation porn.
Preparation porn or like ego masturbation. There's a lot of like prep work.
Yeah, you're like, let me just read
Sure.
another book. Let me read another book. And like, no, you gotta fucking do it.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
The Go-Giver is a really good book to read just as like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And just like instead of the go-getter of like that business mindset, of like I'm go hustle. It was just like this guy was. It's this fictional story based on a bunch of real people, but it teaches a couple life lessons.
No.
And it's very easy read, but it's just like he's like, why is this person so successful? Why is this person so willing to help and all stuff? And they're just like, yeah, actually the most successful people want to help. They want to give.
Yeah.
They want to volunteer their time. They want to mentor, and he's just like, wait, what? Like, it's just like, so all like you get ahead by just being a person that doesn't care about getting ahead and just giving, Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the richest people on the planet are philanthropists and, they give away massive amounts of their money. And then there's billionaires that obviously ain't going to do jack shit for society. But I genuinely believe that the majority of society is good, is my opinion on it. Everybody wants to put out there in the world that, oh my gosh, everybody's horrible. No, they're not.
If you live that way, then you'll
find
everybody
it
as horrible.
Yeah,
exactly.
You'll find it. You want to project out in the world that those are your thoughts. Well, that's all you're going to see, and if you genuinely just walk around the world with this idea that like, hey, the bad shit could happen to me, but for the most part, I don't believe it's going to happen to me, and everybody I come across is a good person, and blah 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 blah. We know that's not the case, but if you mentally believe that, like, I don't think that you can have a bad day. You know what I mean? You can have bad times and...
You could have that bad 15 minutes, but...
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
23 hours, but...
Dude, the other thing that I learned big time through my health issues and my depression and stuff was days go by quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you're just sitting there, a soppy mess, woe is me about everything, the days go by real fast.
Yeah.
And you ain't getting those days back, Right. So I love what you just said. It's like, go ahead and take that 15 minutes, take that hour, and
yeah, I'm terrible at that actually. I've heard the principle, but yeah, dude, man, I let 15 minutes just ruin my whole day. I'm like, all right, well, this day's fucked. I was like going to the liquor store.
That was me.
Yeah,
that was me.
Man.
But I'm thankful now that like that's kind of the premise I'm living on is like every day is a good day. You're going to have bad things that happen, but just take the time to like settle that in your mind. Settle it that day is my goal, right?
Yeah,
Don't carry it on with me anymore and don't let it kill me and drag me back. I'm not saying that that's how every day goes for me.
Sure.
But that's the
These
goal.
are like the ideal.
Yeah. That's the goal. One of the things I really wanted to change about myself was just like, it seems stupid, was just letting traffic get to me. It was like a thing.
In Idaho?
Yeah, bro. Like, it was fucking me up.
It's like, because, like, you're the event.
Well, I mean,
dude, I used to have a massive road rage, but this is in Cali.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, dude.
It is getting worse
you
here.
You gotta
now,
understand, I grew up here when fucking Meridian Road going to Kenna, 2 lanes, dirt.
Yeah, let's go. Right. So now you're like, I get stuck behind
fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was a thing, man. I was getting so mad. And then after it happened, right? Like after you're away from that car and you're gone, you're still seething mad about it. You're like, motherfucker. Well, I finally got this place in my head where it's like, well, for that 5 to 10 seconds that you let yourself lose your shit or whatever, that you're wrong for that you let that happen. And then the longer you just sit there and seethe on it, you're creating that. You know what I mean? That other person, they're not even thinking about you. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing it all to yourself. So I give myself the moments now, I guess. I would say,
because sometimes you still need that moment to like fucking let it out. But then you're like, all right, good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, I struggled with it for years, and I'm thankful to be, where I'm at now with that. But it took a lot of fucks and like, you know what I mean? Like just fucking wanting to hit.
It's so funny because like I'm a very gentle human. I'm very pacifist.
Okay.
I've never been hit in the face.
Really?
Never hit anybody in the face.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
And I'm still a sarcastic asshole, but I'm a de-escalatory. I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Like, I'll pull back, and I've been working the bar scene for ages. I know how to work with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to fight anybody either. So like, I almost always will step down.
Yeah.
But when it comes to traffic, dude, I fucking scream. I'm like, motherfucker!
Because we're safe.
Screaming.
We're safe in there.
Like hitting the steering wheel, and I was like, dude, where did that come from? I was like, holy shit.
Pissed off about the last 72 hours. That's what
dude, it was like such rage inside me. I was like, I'm imagining my dad.
I'm telling you, I get it.
But then I'll like pop out the side. I'm like, hey, how are you guys doing?
For sure. I wouldn't say I'm a pacifist because there is a side to me. I had to like fight growing up. I fought a lot growing up. Because of like, how kids are. Kids are shitty.
Yeah.
We were a poor family. I didn't have the best clothes. I didn't have fucking shit like that. Yeah. So you get the kids start picking at you until you start beating ass, and then they're like, oh, well, fuck with that guy.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a side to me. I also did like MMA and shit like that, wrestling.
Yeah.
So I have that side to me. I have been hit in the face a lot, and I've hit a lot of people in the face. But I will say, nowadays, in my older age, that side, it would take a lot to bring it out of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight people. I don't want people to want to fight me, and like stupid shit like that. But there's a side in there that if I had to bring it out, I could. But like Tim Beck, we were talking about, he's a pacifist. Like, he would never hurt a fly type of guy. And I've always respected that about him. And I learned from him that, like, you can be that way in life and it's okay. Because for a lot of years, shit would set me off quick, and like, I even got knocked out one time at a party we threw at China Blue. Somebody come up in the darkness. I think I bumped him or something. I turned around, and I got jacked like right in the face.
Oh shit!
I like fell to the ground, got up, I was like bleeding everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be a guy that's gonna be like out anywhere and like just get aggressive with people or whatever. It'd take a lot.
Yeah. See, I mean, I think there's like in all areas of life, there's this balance of some people sit on this side of the pendulum and some people sit on this side, and both can learn from the other. Like, for example, like, I hated confrontation, so I'm such a pacifist. I'm like, well, I'm not going to say anything. I feel weird, I feel uncomfortable, and I spent so much time doing that. And one of my things I've been learning over the last 5 years is like, yeah, dude, if you have to say something, just fucking say it. Get it instead of thinking about it for 3 days and it eats at your soul. It's like, dude, just take care of it right away, and then you don't have to. Now it's done. You said your confrontation.
Yep.
And so one of the things that I still, I guess, am bummed about being a pacifist was like, there's some times in life where that guy needs to be fucking decked in the face.
For sure. And
I didn't do it. Because I was like, I don't want to cause a problem. But like, I don't want to be a fighter. Yeah. I don't want to always be that guy, but I do want to have like there's a time, fuck you, and hit him, or whatever.
I have a lot of friends that were like that, right? And one thing I always tell guys, pacifist type dudes, it's okay to still know how to whoop some ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to know that, like, I could, what I mean? But like, I'm not gonna. But like Tim works out and stuff. Like, I could totally see Tim losing his shit one day. And if somebody
Tim works out at my gym.
Yeah. If somebody fucked with him too much, or like fucked with his kids, like, I can see Tim ripping.
Yeah, see, those are those kind of moments where it's just like, oh, dude, somebody did something to my kid. Like, fuck off. Like, you have to have the ability to at least give yourself that option.
For sure.
And I forget who I was listening to. It was just like in general, like there's humans and animals all have violence.
Oh yeah.
And at some point, certain things have to be violent to protect you, or the fear of violence. So like the only reason he's not going to do something to my kids is because he knows I will like destroy him. You know, like in that scenario. So then they're like, oh, I'm not going to do anything because like so you have to have that protection.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, like I'll probably go my whole life without like getting in a fight.
Which is awesome.
Probably see it, you know. I'm like, and also this is my moneymaker.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to destroy this shit.
No, and honestly, for what it's worth, that's fucking cool. You know, like to be able to go your whole life and not have to be in like a physical confrontation with somebody.
You avoid it up to a certain point. We're all a little bit older.
Yeah.
And so I feel like at this point, like I still believe in violence. I still believe in like communication, and some people need to catch hands.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fine. I believe there's like probably also better verbal communication, but speak to people how like on their fucking level. But we're older now.
Well, me and
there's not like very many like. I don't know who would ever want to fight me now in my future. Like,
I
have done?
Yeah.
I got people in my life that, you know, I've been friends with my whole life, and we have fought like full on fisticuffs, full blows. Like unfortunately in my life, I put a friend of mine in the hospital. We're still friends though. Like we ended up
bring him flowers.
Yeah, we ended up having a squabble, and like we ended up fighting each other. You know, it happens. But anymore, like at my age, like 38, I am not looking to go out and get in some beef with some dude and like scrap. Like I'm not. But I saw like a chick getting attacked on the side of the road or something.
Right, exactly. Like those are the moments where it's like, oh yeah, violence is necessary.
100%.
Right?
100%. I mean, you could be downtown with Cindo, right? Walking down the street, and some guy just comes up and just decides that he's gonna grab her or whatever. Like, I guarantee some violence will come out of you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
but there's also the times. I mean, these are the times I avoided the fights where it's just like some guy was just like, "What'd you say?" You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you
100%.
over like
what'd
a
you say? Fucking
like,
100%.
or just some of that. Dude, one time it was right outside of China Blue actually, and my dad used to do this to me where like I was like driving or backing up, and he tapped my car like, fuck, I'd hit something and freak you out.
Yep.
And so then I just like that was like the joke that I would do, and so this guy was like about to pull out, and I tapped his car, and he just pops out of the car. He's like, "What the fuck did you do that for?" And I was like, "Bro, I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
I mean, he was about to lay hands, but I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. I thought it'd be fun." You know, like I'm not gonna pop up on him, and I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, dude. I just like thought it was be funny." And he was just like, just don't fucking do that. And then he gets back in. But I'll say it, like I'll say some shit at bars, and most of my sarcastic shit to meatheads always just sails right over their heads, so they don't even get that I'm making fun of them. But in the off chance they do, they're like, "Wait, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just fucking around. Hey, do you want to have a shot? Buy him a shot, have some, whatever."
Well, I think there's a huge problem, especially in the downtown scene, because I was down there for a lot of years and I got to see a lot of different situations, different bars. There's just fucking guys walking around downtown who are just aching for trouble. They're not okay mentally. They're not happy with themselves. They're fucking, they're trying really too hard and blah, blah, and they're just waiting for something. Mm-hmm. And then you get a little alcohol in them and it's like 10 times fucking worse. Yeah. I've had friends that, I'm not friends with anymore because that's how they were, and it's like, bro, we can't take you fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
Like what is wrong with you? Like the guy said, excuse me, and you wanted to punch him in the face. You're a fucking asshole, Like
my old roommate, Brent, shout out Brent. He's an amazing guy, but man, he swore off liquor. We still drink beer, but like when he drank liquor, I mean, most of it stems back to childhood trauma. I'm sure there's some violence in your past if you're getting violent now, right? But man, he just wanted to fight. And like the first time we hung out, like he got blackout drunk and he was trying to fight me. And
that's the worst.
And then we became friends and roommates. Love this guy. Yeah. But every once in a blue moon when he'd have liquor, he would just like, we're walking through San Diego, gets the shoulder ball. He's like, what the fuck? And I was like, Brett, calm the fuck down, dude. Like, just looking for it. That
liquor will do that shit to some people, man. I tell you what. I got buddies that you see them drinking liquor, just leave.
Yeah, you're like, I'm out.
And then, people like, shit, we know a ton of people in the scene that can drink liquor for fucking 20 hours straight and just be fine. I'm like, how?
Oh, yeah. That's me. I mean, dude, and even when I'm blackout, I'm clingy. Yeah. I'm like, please, like, pay attention to me. You know, like that's my terrible thing, but that's way better than fucking being violent.
Way better than being an asshole.
Yeah.
Or there's like the people that every time they drink liquor, they're just crying all the time. Like,
that's so you can kind of tell the emotional traumas that some people have based on how they cry during fucking alcohol.
Yeah, figure this shit out.
For sure. Alcohol and me were not friends. That's why I quit drinking a long time ago, but
yeah, good for you, man.
I was that fucking guy that would drink whiskey or any sort of liquor, and for some reason, anger came out of me, and I knew it. I knew it too, and that's why I was just like, you know what, you cannot drink.
Yeah.
But then I also realized that I just fucking hate alcohol because it was a catalyst in my childhood that created so much fucking bullshit in my childhood, and then I was drinking in high school and all that shit to like stem the fucking pain from my childhood. And then, you know, you start drinking, then you're of age going to the bars. That's when I really started like, fuck, dude, I could just walk into some place, sit there and drink all night. And it's totally cool. And then I started like blacking out downtown and like not remembering what the fuck was going on, getting in fights. One time I ended up out in the Kuna desert, woke up, all the doors on my car were open. The hood was fucking destroyed. The window was destroyed. The shit that was in my car was outside the car, all over the desert. And the car was dead because the doors were open all night. And I had apparently drank a bunch of fucking liquor, drove out in the middle of the desert, blacked out, beat the fuck out of my own car. I still could not tell you why. But that's like, you know, I was like, okay, well, me and alcohol just do not get along.
Yeah.
And then I found like, you know, the party scene and drugs and stuff. I was like, okay, this suits me a lot better.
No, I tried up a lot better when I started listening to better music, having better conversations.
Yeah.
I used to blackout all the time.
That was the other thing too, is like, I'm a very personable person, you know, like if I'm around a group of people, I want to be like coherent enough to have a good conversation or, you know, at least know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was the other thing for me. It was like, well, when I start drinking, it takes usually about an hour or two before I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. So let's not do that, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that is, man, I didn't drink till later. Like I'm a late bloomer in general, but I personally believe, as somebody, this is probably my biggest vice. Yeah. And I still think this is one of the worst drugs. Yeah. I think it has a lot of pros. It brings out a lot of like socialness, social gathering. And then just, I mean, even when me and my brother started drinking together, like before I didn't know him. And then we started going to bars together drinking, and I got to know my brother. I was like, oh yeah, I attribute this to drinking. So there's like a bunch of pros, but then there's we all know the negative. For sure. You know, it's just the car accidents, the family trauma, the violence, all this stuff. So yeah. And then also just like the health, like the liver. And so it's probably one of the worst on your body. Yeah. Yeah. But so when people that would give me shit about like doing mushrooms or fucking acid or whatever, like, oh yeah, I don't do drugs. I'm like, bro, you're at my bar every day. You do
100%. That was the thing that I fucking hated when I first got into the scene. All the people I grew up with, all the friends that weren't in the scene, gave me so much shit. Oh, you're just hanging out with all the druggy hippies, blah blah fucking blah. I'm like, bro, don't you guys drink whiskey every fucking day? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean druggy hippies? Yeah. Well, they do like party drugs and stuff. I'm like, again, back to you drink whiskey every fucking day. Yeah. This is what's the difference, you know? And then it's funny because like later on in life, as the commercialization of EDM music in America starts happening and all these bigger festivals and stuff, all those fuckheads that used to talk shit about all of us are now going to the fucking parties. And I'm like, dude, you're 38 now just doing this shit. Like, we have been doing this shit since, long time. Wow. Like, friends of mine that still go to parties and raves and all that shit. They're like, hey, you want to go to such and such? I'm like, no, I'm good, man. They're like, why don't you want to go? I was like, dude, again, you're living the life I've lived for the last 15 years. Like, I'm kind of over it, but have fun. Like, I'm not discouraging you from going and being a part of it. Have fun. I just wish you would have started coming back when I was doing it so we could have fun together. Right.
Dude, the first time like I said, I'm like late in the game in electronic. Like, I feel like electronic is starting to go a bit more underground again.
Well, because it needs to. Yeah.
Right. There it goes again. Is that still rolling though? Yeah, you still have that.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You're not on.
Yeah, let's just leave the wide. We'll have it for a second. Was it just? Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna have to piss in a second, but I wanted to finish this thought. The first time I had heard of any electronic music was when I was in San Diego, and this is 2009. And this chick was like, what kind of music do you listen to? This is when I was chasing music. So I'm like, well, I'm playing in a, rock and roll band. I listen to pop and rock, and I listen to a lot of punk and hardcore and stuff. Yeah. I was like, what kind of do you listen to? And she's just like, dubstep. And I was like,
dubstep.
What? Yeah. Like, say that again? I just never even heard the name. And she was like, yeah, it's like, most people don't know about it. And we were doing mushrooms, and it was the first time I ever did mushrooms. I didn't feel them. I didn't take enough, but we were in this hotel room. But it was when I decided at 23, I was like, I'm going to try drugs. I'm going to try sex. I'm going to try drinking. Because I grew up in a cult. I was just like very religious.
I've heard, I remember you talking about that. Okay, yeah.
So then this was like kind of on my outs. Yeah. I was just like, dude, none of that's working for me. I'm going to try all the other shit. Yeah. So I was like, first time I get a chance to have sex, I'm going to have sex. First time I get a chance to drink, I'm going to drink. First time I get to smoke, I'm going to do it. So I just started saying yes. So like, you want to do some mushrooms? I'm like, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, we were like, it was like 5 or 6 of us in this like little shitty hotel. But she was like playing me some dubstep, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, for sure. For real.
I was like, dude, cool. I guess it was just so outside my wheelhouse. Yeah. Because I've just been listening to some, like post punk and shit.
Yeah, I did the same, by the way. My growing up was like pop, rock, punk, even was in a band, all that kind of stuff. But it's funny you say that, because when I came from Florida here, the electronic music that I was listening to in Florida was totally club influenced. Then I meet Billy and all these guys, and I'm like listening to what they're playing. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? Like, can we play some? And like, I'd try and put my music on and be like, bro, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Electronic, dude. They're like, no, not on these decks. And I'm like, fuck.
Dude, that is the funny thing about like people that are more and more underground, the more elitist it is. And you're just like, dude, what about this? And like, nah. You don't do that.
For sure.
It was funny. I was shitting on a couple of people when I was at my first Konnexion, and because people shit on me because I'm very into pop, or I have like a lot of guilty pleasures. Yeah. So like I'll put on Kesha at a fucking house party, and like Josh Andrag.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, we threw this party one time here, and he's sitting up there and he's just like playing some I don't know shit that I don't know, and everyone's getting mellow, and it was like 4 a.m. and everyone's getting tired. I'm like, Josh, this fucking sucks. I was like, let me show you how to party. And I just put on Kesha.
Hell yeah, dude.
And he's just like, fucking gay. And he puts his head down. And everyone from the house came up to the bedroom and started dancing. I was like, fucking told you so, bitch. It was like, pop.
There's a place for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So people make fun of me, and then I'll make fun of them. But like, yeah, I mean, the more you get into a specific style, the more you'll come across as elitist. But it's just like, no, I want this specific thing.
For sure, 100%. And honestly, like, I think there's a place for all of it in electronic music. Like the textures and the sounds from every genre can be included in electronic music. And I hate to say it, even country. I've heard country music elements and influences in some tracks, and I'm like, it's pretty good.
For sure. Bluegrass.
No. Like fucking Avicii, he did like country and
shit.
Oh yeah,
Dirtwire's sick. I remember when we brought them to Idaho for the first time.
Also, dude, I am a hater on country for my whole life, but some of this new like hip hop country and Morgan Wallen, I heard somebody else like, I could kind of get into this. I'm like, ooh, like the merge of hip hop and country.
Well, that's what's happening is like country.
And the other country people would hate it. But I'm like, I'm into it.
I feel like country music hit a stagnation point for a little while, and then like the young, fresh vibe started coming into it, and so you're hearing different mixes of sounds. And I'm very eclectic with music. I listen to a lot of different kinds, so I'm always trying to find like the new fresh sound in the genre and just kind of explore it, So pop music is always going to belong in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah, and there's also always going to be like the Billboard Top 100 pop.
For sure.
And then there's also still going to be pop in like these other genre. Like,
for sure.
Like there's some of the bands I listen to, they're not on the Billboard 100, but they're still fucking poppy as shit. You know, there's still like that structure or that
Who was the
sensibility.
band? There's a group I was thinking of that you would probably really like, and I can't think of it, but it was very poppy, electro, just like, what the fuck was their name? Do you know Zachary Icon?
Yeah.
Okay. Zach, if you watch this at all, the band that you made me listen to, that I was like, this is fucking pop shit. He's like, no, just listen, and I loved it. Remind me of it. But anyways, it was very like pop influenced. And I think that you would love it. Like, especially with, like, I've listened to some music you've put out. You would be very like,
yeah, dude. The song that I just released, that Dark Side song, that is, I mean, I never listened to drum and bass until her.
Yeah.
And then that has like a very the sensibility of drum and bass beats.
Yeah.
But I'm still very poppy as shit. You know, like I came from like a pop rock background.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh man, I could feel my electronic influences starting to,
which is awesome,
permeate some of the stuff I was like, dude, I am not making the shit that I've made before. That was before. I want to make something completely new.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, dude, music is one of those things. Like, if you're creative in music, it's endless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could bring in influences from all sorts of different shit and make your own. You know what I mean? That's the thing right now that I'm having a hard time with, is the genres. There's so many different people are calling genres so many different fucking things anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? Because this sounds like drum and bass to me. Yeah. It's like, it's alternative garage, blah 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 blah. I'm like, drum and bass, you know? Yeah. So,
well, with drum and bass though, like, because you love drum and bass, so you love like really mellow.
But there's like, I could describe like there's different types of that. There's still like a genre of it.
Yeah, there's still
like, in bass music. There's like pretty like morning set bass.
Yeah.
And there's like wubby like.
Like
the rollers, that type of fucking bass, you know. Yeah. So you have to describe it like in sounds, and I guess each sound could have its own genre. But I'm like, you just tell me a sound.
Say the sound.
Well, that's what I love about the underground, is like, I feel like the underground does not pin themselves into genres. You know, a bass, like at Konnexion, man, I listen to some bass music. I'm not a big bass music fan. I'm a 4 on the floor techno house. But I was listening to some shit up at Konnexion this year. I'm like, what the fuck what would you call this? You know, like, it was so good, but I was not hearing.
Swamp.
Yeah. Swamp, I guess. Yeah. But like, I was not hearing like, oh, this is definitely a dubstep track, or this is definitely a DMB, or, you know, whatever.
That's what I love about artists when they merge like a ton.
Fuck yeah.
Like, what?
Which is why Konnexion was so awesome, and why like Sam Cassay, you know, years ago, I turned over the lineup to him, because I was like, dude, you get it. Like, you get taste and texture, and like, so you go ahead and book all these artists for us and blah, blah, blah. And like, he fucking killed it over the years. The last couple of years, I literally would look at the lineup and like, Sam, who the fuck are these people?
He's like, just you wait.
Exactly, right? And but I just totally trusted him. That's why I turned over the festival to him and Billy, because I knew that they were going to keep the underground sounds, you know, and like the new and fresh. And man, they blew me the fuck away with this year with some of the artists they had out there.
It was fun.
And I was like, okay, like, fucking A.
It was dance music as fuck. I do feel like, not to shit, sorry, but not to shit on like all the new sound that's coming out, but I do feel like it's a little bit like lower frequency as far as like actual sound frequency. More drinking bird dancing than actual seems like lower energy like exchange on the dance floor. And this was dance music.
Yeah. We one of my favorite things about musical Hertz, as I'm exploring, is I'm retired DJing, right? Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm playing such and such show or festival. Like, anything I do in music from now on is going to be an exploration of like Hertz. And my goal is to put together a set of music where I can literally like just change the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play a set of music where the crowd has no idea what's happening, but like, I could just, through frequency of sound, take the crowd from like just super bubbly and poppy and blah 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 to like, I want to see some frowns on these faces, you know, and like, bring it down to a hearse to where they're just like, what the fuck is happening? I was like super happy a minute ago, and now I'm like, I'm very anxious, and then just like crank it back up to like, well, I'm happy again, you know, because music can do that to people, you know. So like when it comes to music and the DJ and stuff and all that, like I'm very still interested in it, but that's the route I want to start exploring, is like,
that's pretty fucking cool.
What this shit will do. Because there was times, man, where I've been at a music festival sober and get hit with these fucking frequencies coming out of the substacks, and I'm just like, my mood was just completely shifted. Sometimes for the worse, you know, like, why do I feel like shit standing here right now?
Yeah.
And it's because like the fucking dark ass, like, bah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
But then there's times where you're like standing there and like this fucking just pretty house track is playing and you're just like, oh my God, you know? Like, just music can do that to people, you know? So, and I think a lot of people don't really understand that about music. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of people that go to these festivals that they don't sit on computers and mess with music all day, and they're not necessarily like the hugest music fans. They're just there for the fun and their friends and whatever, but they don't understand like the dynamic of what is really happening through those speakers. And that's what's interesting to me anymore. So
you know. I want to tell you something. I gotta pee real quick, but I want to let's stay on this because I want to talk to you about like a certain sound and like music and affecting like anyway,
for sure. It can affect war zones.
Dude, right? Dude, I'm so stoked you came.
Yeah,
it was funny because I keep like a list of like people who are interested in the podcast or people I'm interested in the podcast. And so far I've still not like, at some point I want to start moving into like chasing some bigger and bigger people. As of now, I've mostly still been just like homies, friends, interesting, you know, whatever. But I do want this to be something that can happen, full time, like down the road.
I honestly see this. I'll be frank and honest with you, my opinion of this podcast. The name, fucking kill it.
Fucking love the name.
You know what I mean?
You.
Like,
yeah, it is like
for real. Everybody in podcasting is trying to get somebody, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so it's like the NOBODIES podcast is so perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's just really good.
It was branding. One of the,
but like going back to like the scene community, but you call it, they're weirdos or counterculture or nobodies would be another. Like most of the people that I know are nobodies in the general sense.
For sure.
I don't, like nobody else knows their name. Like your friends and family know who you are.
Sure.
They didn't create the next thing. They didn't build this, they're not an actor. They're not like a big musician.
Yeah.
But to me, I was like, that doesn't mean they don't have learning lessons to share.
For sure.
They don't have life lessons to give. They don't have humor. Like I did start this, like, dude, I want it to be fun. I like to fuck around. I like to get some, like we fuck around and make jokes, whatever.
For sure.
But there's been some fucking serious ones too. And so I'm like, I don't want to like not do anything serious. I don't want to not do just funny. We go with the flow.
Well, I think the name NOBODIES just opens you up for so much in the sense of like, it does not matter what is talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's going to be a range of things. It's going to be interesting topics no matter who you're talking to, because again, I think society in general, social media has kind of created this conundrum in the world of like, people feel like they're nobody, right? Unless they have a social media following, unless they have a presence online.
Right.
I think genuinely the society is getting to that point where nobody feels like anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back in the day, without social media, you could have been the shit in your town.
Yeah.
You could have been that guy that like, oh yeah, we know Joe. Like, we see him at the bar all the time, or whatever. Well, nowadays it's not that way anymore. It's who's online, who's got the biggest presence, who's got the most views, who's got the most likes. And so this is a perfect podcast for, I think, the way of the world right now. It's like highlighting that like this is a podcast for everyone. So it's awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it's funny because you were saying, fuck, dude, I grew up in such like a weird environment, but I was such a nerd and such a like this little Christian like weirdo. And then I went to a cult school, so like there was only like 10 people in my class. But I never had this feel. I joke about it all the time, and I was like, dude, I'm popular now. But I was like, and I actually felt it, not because of the podcast or anything, just like bartending.
Yeah.
So when you're a bartender, people are like, oh, you're the guy. Yeah. So like I have control of the booze.
I got it all back here.
You know, so every time you're like, oh, what's up, Josh? What's up, Josh? I was like, is this what it feels like to be popular? Because I had never really had that growing up.
For real.
And I was like, oh, people like want to see you. And like, obviously these are still like very ego things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
But
everybody has those things.
But like, yeah, like you don't get any of that in social media, really. I mean, you might get a hit, but in reality is like, are you do you have a social circle that like loves you, takes care of 100%. You, that you give to them? And that's what I do appreciate about the whole scene community and like this huge community that is like, oh yeah, I'll show up for you. Like you help me over here. I'm like these are my people.
100%, man. Like, and like I said previous, is like a lot of what is done in the community is not done by individuals, right? Like one thing I always liked to tell people is if you looked at my messaging, like as the guy, you know, like I own Konnexion, I created this, I run this. If you ever looked at my messaging though, it was always we, us, together. Like I never said me, my. I cannot stand a promoter that says my event, blah, 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 this, that. It's not yours, man. Like it's not. You are the catalyst, you're the guy with the idea, but there's probably 50 other motherfuckers behind you that are running it. I always understood that. And so I never wanted it to be about me, my, this, that, blah, blah. I wanted it always. So it was very easy for me when I walked away from it all to be like, well, you know, now these guys are going to take it over and run it. Yeah,
because they've been helping this entire time. Yeah.
They were a part of the whole thing and they've curated it and grown it just as much as I have, you know?
Yeah.
And so very much so for like a bartender, you are the establishment's guy. You know what I'm saying? You're the face of that establishment. You may not own it. You may not run, you know, but you are the face of that.
Right.
And especially your returning clients, you know, the people that see you on a regular basis and whatnot, they're going to look at you as that's the guy. Like they don't know the owner. They don't, you know, you're the owner to them.
Right.
In the sense of like, you're who.
That's the face of when I get the,
So it totally makes sense. And it's the same, you know, stuff that I've done. I'm sure it's probably the same for you in work and jobs and things.
He started pouring drinks for a friend and then he was his best man last year at his wedding.
Nice.
So, like,
dude, that's fucking crazy.
I create a lot of friendships.
Which is cool, you know, like that's your dynamic and that's your space to go and do that. Because from what it sounds like, you know, you have your life set up to where you only have to do that for a certain period of time in the week, and then you get to focus on your creativity. So
yeah, and that's what I like about the podcast community, or just the idea of like building a network of friends. Because like everyone that I've had on here has either been a friend or someone I admired, like for a skill set, or someone I was interested in. I'm like, oh, you're interesting.
Yeah,
you know, like so it's just like let me hear. But for the most part, I was like 80%. 90% is friends,
which is awesome.
My homie, I'm like, dude, we have the best conversations. Get on the pod, you know, so it's stuff like that. But the more and more I realize that I have all these people in my life, I'm like, holy shit, I'm fucking blessed with it. Like my community is growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
There's another point to that is when this does take off, because we speak in terms like that, right? When you're creating, when. So when this does take off, you're gonna have like this whole back catalog of like. The people that don't know you personally or know no one in your life, they just find your podcast, find it interesting. There's going to be like this whole backlog of like the beginning of all this where it's like, hey, do you really want to know who I am? Go back and watch all this. These are my friends. This is my circle. Like, so that's super cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you have to. Yeah. Like the only way to like,
it's basically your long-term introduction to the world. Yeah. Just in a backlog format. You know what I mean? So I think it's fucking cool shit. I honestly think, like I said, you have opportunity to really build this into something and be somebody.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. I mean, I knew this going into it, but I think it's going into anything. But like, I'm a big chaser, and like we were talking about like building wealth and stuff. I was like, yeah, I have my house, but I honestly don't want to just stack, getting my second house, then my third house, and then by the time I'm 60, I have 10 houses and I can retire.
Yeah.
Like that's just not my. It's not my path, or I don't feel that at the time. That's no shade on anyone who does. It's just like you have certain people have to do certain things. I'm putting a lot more of my all my eggs in like a creative basket again, and I did it in my 20s, and I didn't learn the lessons of consistency
For sure.
and dedication and discipline and business, and so then I gave music up. And I was like, dude, imagine if you kept with music for the last 10 years, where you would be.
It's crazy to think about.
But like, that's okay.
Yeah.
That was that. But I was like, oh, I'm starting to make music again. I was like, I'm going to at least give another decade to just doing creative stuff. And I was like, if you can do it for another 10 years, learning all this stuff, there's no way you're not going to have a tease of some sort of at least like monetary value, or like, oh, I can do it a little more stably here.
For sure.
Because like one of my if I were to dream of like a stepping stone, like I said, I would never arrive,
right?
But there's still the first stepping stone of success with the podcast would be to make enough money from this podcast to pay for the bills that I have.
Yeah.
And so when I get to wake up and I'm like, okay, so what do I have to do to work on today? Oh yeah, fucking Brandon Lee's coming on the podcast. All right, sweet. And just sure. This is how I'm paying my bills now.
For sure.
Fuck yeah.
For sure. I kind of respect that, because one of my again, we've talked about, I've started many things in my life that have lasted, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my qualms that I have with myself is all of these things that I've done in my life. I've had multiple businesses. I've had all these other things. I've never stuck with them. I would get things going and then be like, oh, I'm bored, or oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's do something else. But I would always stay involved with what I had started. And it started grinding on me. I'm like, why do you start these things? And then you build this team around it, and you get other people involved, and they're running it, but you're still involved. It doesn't make sense. Like, why do you do that? Well, it took a long time to understand that, because I don't know what the hell I want to do in life. I don't have a path. I don't have a...
What if starting shit is your path?
And I've been told that. They're like, there's such a thing as a guy that just roams the earth and is just has all these ideas and gets them going and then just leaves them in the dust. I'm like, I don't understand that. I'm learning about, and learning about myself and understanding why that is. But I don't have a dream for anything right now in life except to be a good dad, take care of my family, and do that.
Yeah.
But everything else, I started another business, so I'm running another business again. I got involved in another business earlier this year. That didn't work out because me and the partner were just two different people and we don't get along.
Sure.
So I've walked away from that, but that business is still going. He's still running it. You know, it's that was another thing that I got involved in, started up, but I'm just whatever. So I don't know what my life looks like, but all I know is there's just air and opportunity. And I'm just waking up every day with the main goals being taking care of my family, making sure my son have a good day, and make sure that I make it back home.
Yeah.
It sounds like you know what life looks like.
I mean, I'm starting to get a picture of
you don't know how it has to end.
Yeah. And that was the other thing too, is I beat myself up for years. I think society does this to people, enforcing the issue of wait, you're 25 and you're
haven't done this since this and this.
I started listening to Gary Vee.
Fucking love him.
Fucking dude, what a stud, man.
36 is when he left his father's store, right? 35.
And he spent 10 years of his life dedicated to helping his father build a business, and did not look at that as anything other than, I dedicated 10 years of my life to that. Now I'm on to other things. But what I love that what he says is guys our age, we're fucking still air and opportunity.
Yeah.
We have all the opportunity in the world to still do and make successes and just be. But where I don't want to get pinholed in is, and much like you, I love what you do with your life and how you're structuring it, is I'm not going to get pinholed into the American dream or the, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
I have not done anything by the book or by societal standards or whatever. Yeah. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I've made it this far. And I've learned a fucking lot.
Almost anyone that either lives a really happy life or even a really successful life never does it by society standards.
For sure.
It's almost always the, all the fucking geniuses were the dropouts. And,
for sure.
Not calling myself a genius. I didn't drop out. But, it's just, there's always an alternate path.
Yeah.
And if you just do what you're told in a specific line, like, I don't think that brings happiness for anyone.
No. Oh, something interesting that's been going on for me lately in life is telling people that I don't buy into society standards. One of the things that's like a big annoyance in my life is like we rent a house from this landlord, and we've rented it for 8 years at this point. So me and the landlord, we know each other very well, get along great. We always pay our rent. Like, it is what it is. Well, when I went through my health issues, my whole life changed. I stopped doing what I was doing, and I was trying to change myself mentally. I started making a stand in life towards one, like my cell phone, and people thinking that my time is their time. Thinking that like just because you called me, I'm supposed to call you back immediately, or just because you texted me for something, I'm supposed to.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, same,
dude.
You were.
So I started telling people, like I've been telling them, like, hey, like my landlord, he tries to get a hold of me in middle of the month. Well, it ain't the first. I'm not supposed to be paying you rent. Like,
right.
You called me, okay, cool. He will fucking call me for like days. I won't answer for days. Like, what? I don't need to talk to you. And then I'll call him at like the weekend. Hey, what's up? I saw you called. So why don't you answer my calls? Well, what do you need? Well, nothing. I was just trying to get a hold of you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, Shane, I don't owe you my time. Me and you, it was a relationship. Like, we're cool, but it's transactional.
Yeah.
I have to show up in your life once a month to make sure your rent is paid.
It's also good to just like, those are... Sheila and I were talking a lot about boundaries and like you have energy to give. Yeah. And everything is an energy.
It is.
And if all you're doing is responding to texts all the time, that means I'm not present with you.
100%.
I mean, and obviously podcasts make it a little easier, but you and I both have not had a phone out, right? Yeah. And this another thing I appreciate about podcasts, it kind of forces that, but like people are like, oh yeah, oh, this is what it feels like to have an uninterrupted conversation. Genuinely. With no other distraction. Yes. It's awesome. But I try to actually live my life, like if I'm by myself, I'm on my phone a bit more. Yeah. But as soon as I'm with a friend, for the most part, I'm still like sometimes I go into those habits. But I'm like, no, we're here together. Yeah. Like I'm not on my phone. We're talking.
Genuinely, like I think about the way I was raised, right? A landline, a fucking voicemail that we didn't check till everybody was home. I think about where I come from, and I've always hated society forcing me to do anything. I hate the fucking internet, even though I was so involved in social media for so long being a promoter. I took fucking break from the internet for 3 years. I didn't post. I was a guy that posted all the time, controversial shit, always wanted conversation, blah, blah. For 3 years, left the internet, didn't fucking post, didn't do all that. Was working on myself. And that's where I really started giving myself the leniency of being able to tell people like, no, I don't operate like that. Yeah. No, you may have needed to get a hold of me, but I didn't need to talk to you in my personal life, and I didn't need to give my energy at that time. So I'm calling you back now, though. What'd you need? Yeah. And like people in my life are starting to understand it.
But you're creating that culture, so that way, like your circle, will
they
understand.
get it.
They're like, oh yeah, I might hit him up, and he might not have me back for 3 days. Cool, no big deal.
Which is what I want for my life, and I want people to understand that, like, I only have so much bandwidth anymore. I gave away so much of myself to others, and to so much selfishness in the world, and blah blah blah. That like now I'm being a little bit selfish with myself and my time, and I now understand my bandwidth's a lot better. I fucking dude. 24-hour cycles sometimes where I didn't sleep because I had so much stress and so many people trying to get a hold of me, and my phone would die like 3 or 4 times a day. Yeah. And be so hot sometimes because I'm just fucking constantly on it, and I think of these things that piss me off, and I'm like, I don't ever want to return to that. Yeah. And so I have to set those boundaries with people. And honestly, for a long time, I had a fear of abandonment and judgment and all these things from childhood traumas that I have now unpacked and I don't give a fuck about anymore. Yeah. And so it's like, the new version of me is just setting all these boundaries and letting people know like, hey, this is how I want to operate in life now. It may make you upset or whatever, but like, that's a selfish perspective. Yeah. If somebody's dying, send me a text that, hey dude, like, okay, I will contact you right away.
I'm going to see that.
But like,
but also don't cry wolf.
Yeah. But if you're hitting me up because you need something from me, I'm sorry if I don't emotionally get attached to that right away and tell you like, or be Johnny on the spot for you or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that that's not who I am anymore. And it's such a freeing feeling, to be honest, dude. Like, it really is.
Yeah, and this is still like a work in progress for me too, because like this is why I like going camping. You get out of service,
fuck yeah,
and then it stresses me the fuck out that when I get home from camping and there's 35 messages,
and
you're like, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna deal with that tomorrow, because and some of my favorite people, the way I see them operate is they spend, 2 times a day getting back to all their messages. So like, okay, this is my phone time. Okay, let's respond to that. Put out a fire, or that's not important. Okay, now I'm taken care of.
Nope.
But like, if you're just on your phone all day, you're never present. You're never like focused. Like whatever you're like the work you're doing.
Yep.
And
I took it. So again, traumas I had, abandonment, or not feeling good enough or whatever. So like I would text important people. Or at least I thought it was important.
Yeah.
And I'm like waiting for this response. And I thank these people to this day, like people in my life that I looked at as like higher level people, business owners, blah, blah, blah. And I would text them. And I'd be waiting for them to get back to me, and they wouldn't respond. And I'd text again, like, hey, did you get my message? Call them. And they wouldn't respond. It'd be days. Then they would respond. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was trying to get a hold of you, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was the person that I don't want people to be towards me, right?
And they already learned the lesson, probably.
Yes.
Like,
so I started understanding it after time. I'm like, wait a minute, I fucking get it now. How this guy is able to do what he's able to do because he prioritizes his bandwidth.
Yeah.
I have a really, really rich friend, like super uber rich, that door-to-door sales knocking. When I started that, this guy, Adam, kept telling me, he's like, stick with me, man. We're going to be millionaires. I'm like, oh, fucking door knocking, dude? Like, what? Yeah. This is crazy. Well, this guy is the best salesman in the entire United States. I mean, I've literally watched him. In the grand scheme of selling alarms, if you sell 2, 3, 4 a day, you're a fucking stud. I would watch this guy go out and sell 30 in a day. No. I'm telling you, bro. So anyways, all these years later, he went from being a door knocker selling alarm systems to building his own alarm system company to like getting sued by ADT, the largest company in the nation, to winning. And then ADT bought part of his company for $300 million. I'm like,
shit.
Holy shit. So
you used to door knock with him.
Yeah. And I used to door knock with this guy. So anyways, but he's one of those guys that sometimes like I'll send him a text and I know he loves me. I know he cares about me. I know like our friendship is genuine, but he won't respond to me for a long time sometimes. I'm like, and I used to let it get to me, but I saw him recently. And I just in meeting up with him and hanging out with him for a little bit of time, I got to see how he was structured. And I was like, okay, I understand now. I understand why you take days, because I saw like his phone and there'd be like 200 fucking text messages. And it's
there's a million other people after their time.
100%.
And then, it's like, if say the guy has a family, people that are really good at business and family life, they're just like, okay, this is business time and then this is family
100%.
life. My phone's on the, it's there. Like, we don't do this. Like, this is my kid time. This is my wife time.
100%, dude. I got in a bad habit early on with my son, I used to feel so bad about it too, but like my time at night with my son, whether he was 1, 2, 3, whatever, it didn't matter. But I would be like holding him and I'm on a phone call, walking around, or like I'm sitting there texting and I'm holding him and I'm like, and I look at him and be like, why? And I just get rid of my phone. I'm like, why am I more attached to this than I am to this, And so super thankful for everything that's happened to me over the last however 5 years or whatever. It's changed fucking everything for me. And it's helped me see, how you walk around in life and there's lessons being put in your face all the time. Mm-hmm. And you just don't ever see it until one day you fucking see it.
You learned the hard way.
Yeah, I am. I'm very much. I tell people this all the time. I'm a bull in the china shop type of person. I didn't have guidance as a kid. I didn't know my real dad until 4 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Dead ass, straight up. My mom, if you ever see this, I love you, but still, I'm telling stories. She like lied to me about who my dad was. Like, I knew young who he was, but she would tell me like, that's not your dad, it's someone else, blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
It's one of them. Well, later in life, I had my son and I'm like, fuck, dude, I really need to like find out who my dad is. Who am I? Like, who do I come from? And anyways, ended up hitting the dude up that I always thought was my dad that my mom said is not your dad. ended up being my dad. You know?
Yeah.
So we have a good relationship now, and
Cool.
and that's great. But I didn't have guidance growing up, man.
Yeah.
I had a mom that was a bartender, that was like a Budweiser car girl for a little while. She was the life of the party.
Yeah, sure.
Throwing parties at our house. I mean, I have memories. I don't know if it was an acid party, but I'm pretty sure it was now that I'm older. But like, I have memories of coming down the stairs and my mom like butt naked people all over the house and shit. And I'm just like, you know, so that kind of childhood. So
they slipped you a dose.
Probably. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, you're dealing with a guy who I have literally figured it all out myself. I've had mentors, I've had people that have helped, which have kept me out of prison. And like, for sure, there was times in my life where I wanted to be in the chaos. So like I was living in Georgia one time and I found the gangsters. Yeah. Started hanging out with like full-on gangbangers and going down to Turner Field where the Atlanta Braves play and going to the Black Mafia Club and like hanging out with dudes selling crack and shit, you know? Yeah. Because I just... I'm telling you, like there was a side to me that was like I had no guidance in life, so the world to me is just whatever the fuck, you know? And I like chaos.
Dude, I lived that. This is... I am similar to this, like, and sometimes when I'm like a little down on myself, I'm like, you're a piece of shit. And so I was like, oh, well, if you're a piece of shit, you deserve to get, you might as well just fuck up your shit because you already know you're a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. So then I'll just like get into like more chaos and more chaos. I was like, well, you deserve this fucking life. And to like, you tell yourself that shit.
That's what I was.
And yeah, cause I had plenty of guidance. Like I grew up in a Judeo-Christian, like this very culty family. But my grandfather's a pedophile. Like there's some weird shit growing up. We have this like very weird religion, and so I mean it's like fundamental Baptist, but it's just like you don't talk to the outside. Mm-hmm. And so I still had structure. You know, I had a dad who taught me work ethic. I mean, I fucking hated him, but like we're repairing as well. Yeah, he never left. Dude. Yeah. Like he was always there. You know. Like cheating, big family, and then like our extended family was a little more like religious and just, you know, not all of it is like that bad, you know, it's just like, farm life, all that shit, like dairy farm. It started as a dairy farm, then got into like, he just raised beef. It was like dairy is not making any money. So, you know, we were always poor, etc. But yeah, I still had probably more guidance than somebody who didn't have like two parents, etc. But all my guidance was about how to be like good with God and Jesus. Yeah. And so like I didn't really get as many life lessons as I like would have wanted to. But at the same point, it's like every fucking childhood is like it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just like you're good. Like if you grew up with a silver spoon, you might get a little further. Are you going to be any happier? Maybe not. Yeah. If you grow up with challenge, you know, you figure it out along the way.
Well, I used to like really think that my life was just, we are the worst luck. We are the blah, blah, blah. Until you get older. And then I had friends that had everything they ever wanted in life. And they ended up being fucking full on pieces of shit, drug addicts, robbing houses. Yeah. You know, it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and like I moved out when I was 16 and I went and lived with like a good friend of mine's family. They, you know, took care of me, took me under. My main goal in high school, my mom told me when I was like 14 that I'd never amount to shit. You never graduate, blah, blah, blah. So stuck with me. And I'm stubborn. So if you tell me you'll never do this, well, I'll fucking do it. Yeah. So I only graduated because my mom told me that I would never would. So thanks, Mom. I graduated. But seeing like the way my buddy was raised and his family, they were awesome, perfect, wonderful people. And he had qualms with the way he was being raised. Yeah. And it's like, motherfucker, you have no idea how awesome this is. Like, so I genuinely think that like anybody's childhood from the outside looking in, you can never judge them. Yeah. You know?
Rogan always says like the worst thing you know is the worst thing you know. 100%. Like, I mean, you don't, actually who gave me perspective is Rob, my buddy. Because we were complaining about daddy issues and shit. And he's like, did he beat you? I mean, no. I mean, like, he spanked me, but he didn't, like, beat the shit out of me. Yeah. Did he leave you? Well, no. Were you always fed? Yeah.
Right.
You had a pretty fucking good childhood. I'm like, oh, shit.
Right.
That was, like, my turn. I was like, should probably repair some shit with my dad. I'm like, I'm not holding on to this 20-year-old grudge. I'm like, yeah, of course it wasn't the best dad, but I was like, dude, he did take care of it. Like, what the fuck am I like? And I'm just being a little bitch, like, over here.
Well, and like, here's the other thing too, right? And one day, like I say, you know, me and my mom don't talk right now. This is like the second time in our lives.
Yeah.
Because the first time we repaired and everything's fine. But like this time it's more so for my son. And I don't want him to see, you know, her traumas that she never fixed come out to him. And so I say all that to say this. Our parents all went through shit, you know. Yeah. This is my mom's first time ever raising kids in her life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like from my perspective, I don't blame anymore. I don't blame my childhood for the way I was fucked up and raised and what I did in life. I used to, but I don't anymore because it becomes a point in life where like it's your responsibility.
Yeah, you're an adult.
You know
also,
what I mean? Like,
it doesn't even matter if it is their fault. It's not going to do you any good.
100%.
Like even if it is all their fault, like it's still not going to help you.
100%. So like I don't put anything on my mom other than we just don't have a good relationship at the moment.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. I know a lot of people that go through those phases in life. And for what it's worth, you know, we just can't continue it on. We can't just hold on to those angers and those grudges. And that's what I was able to release is like, I forgive my mom for everything in my childhood. I forgive everything she went through. Dude, she had me at 15 years old. Like, that's fucking really nuts, right? I'm alive. And this woman had me when she was 15.
Yeah.
You got to be grateful. You know what I mean? You got to be thankful. 100%. And so it took me a while to get to that spot. And it's good to hear that, you know, you're repairing stuff with your dad too. And it's like, we want grace in life for everything that we do and fuck up and go through. And so who are we to not give that grace?
Dude, that's why I think, I mean, Cinda has way more empathy than I do. But going back to that like sliding scale, like she's like way on the side of I'll forgive you over and over. And sometimes I'm like, dude, fuck that guy. Don't forgive him, you know? For real. But like then I still have friends further than me, you know, where they're just like they'll cut them out after like this one thing. I'm like, dude, they're a human. They're 22 or you know whatever. So the more you learn to let something like go, you still do have to find a line. But like, yeah, I can't let this person just take advantage of me over and over. Like, so there has to be some line. Right. But if you don't forgive anything, like you're not gonna have friends because no one is perfect. Yeah. So you're just gonna isolate.
It's miserable too. It's a miserable way to live. You know, people don't think far enough into what your mental state really does to your body. I mean, down to your organs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when you walk around with so much just stress and anger and, you know, chaos in your mind towards outside entities or people or whatever, you're not hurting them. You're hurting yourself physically, emotionally. Those people are living their life. You know what I mean? No. And you're sitting in your house like, oh, fucking assholes. Fucking blah, blah, blah. And they're out there just living their life. You know?
It's like back to the road race.
Yeah, dude. Like for real. And again, guilty as fuck of it, you know, and it takes time, I think, for anybody to really live a lot of life and understand that, like, well, fuck, that shit did not benefit me in any way, hating that person. You know what I mean? Like, which I will say, though, there is a time and place for hate.
For sure.
You know, because you have to let stuff out sometimes. I've met a lot of spiritual people doing, you know, what I've done in life, and I can't stand when somebody will sit there and tell you that, like, there's no place in the world for anger in any way. And it's like, no, there definitely is a place for anger.
Be pissed off and watch it fucked up.
Like, don't tell me there's no place in the world for anger. Because there is.
Yeah. Also, like,
the monitor, real quick, the monitor is off right now and it's going to put on widescreen.
Yeah, that's worse. Yeah, well, what time is it? We'll probably wrap this up anyway.
Yeah, don't worry.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude.
I love this.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I told Sheila this when we at the podcast, but I had this determination. I was like, I should probably start getting these like around 2 hours or a little under.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I just get lost. Like, literally, like, I think we've been going for 2.
Well, I had no idea what to expect, and to be honest with you, man, like the intriguing part about podcasts to me is like conversation. Mm-hmm. Like you just stated, you know, we both have had our phones away. Even Cinda,
She's been sitting here. She hasn't had her phone out. She's been present in the moment. And like, where in this world do you get that opportunity in a genuine sense? Like, if me, you, and Cinder were like, hey, let's go out to the bar and we're just going to sit and talk.
No.
Chances are we're going to end up talking to others. We're going to have phones. We're going to get calls. We're going to, it's not the right environment.
Right. That's why I like, I mean, I like, by all means, I would still go to a bar with you. You know,
sure.
Like, of course, like there's there's a different energy.
For sure.
But I still, in those moments, I try my best not to have my phone. I'm like, I'm still going to be, I met this new person.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where like the podcast came in. Like sometimes I meet the most interesting people at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And like, cause I go to by myself quite a bit.
Yeah. And
then just meet somebody. But then I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, you should be on my podcast. You know, like,
I love that.
You have all this to offer, this other guy that I didn't know. But to your other point of like the three of us, like say in this moment, it's like campfire conversation.
100%.
And campfires, especially when you're camping, you're 100%. Like, oh, there's no one else.
100%.
You know, like there's no phones, there's no service. It's just like, oh, it's just us four, or it's us three, or it's five, you know, whatever it is. You're like campfire conversations. I fucking love it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and like, think about society we were talking about earlier, you know, with social media and people so enthralled in the internet.
Yeah.
Genuine conversation is very sparse. Well, at least in my day-to-day life, if I think about like day-to-day what I go through, a lot of it is construction talk. Yeah. You know, you're talking projects or you're working or doing whatever. You can have conversation, but it's genuinely, you know, the same bullshit, you know, like, oh, how's the life? How's the kid? What'd you guys do this weekend, you know? But you're never going to really find an in-depth, substantial conversation on the job site. You know what I mean? And so being able to connect in a way, you know, where it's genuine conversation, I think is beautiful for everybody, but not everybody gets that. You know what I mean?
I like that what you said though about what you're doing with the guys you work with, because you do have your toes in like two different worlds, or like a couple different worlds, right? Mm-hmm. And I do feel, I mean, even at my bar, there's a lot of guys. A lot of them are blue collar, a lot of them are construction guys or car sales guys. And every conversation is about like what we did today at our work site,
100%.
Or how's the wife and kids, cool, or sports.
100%.
And which those are all fine. Like, like those are all like I appreciate sports. I mean, like, but I don't personally, I can't live a life where all I talk about is sports news.
For sure.
Or, you know.
Or regurgitated headlines.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, yeah, so Aaron Rodgers threw for this amount and this. And, you know, like, oh, man, how much are we going to bet on this sports game? And I really do enjoy sports. Like, I just don't enjoy it as much as, like, some of the guys at my sports bar.
Yeah.
But, just to have a different life where I'm fascinated by, let's talk music. Oh, let's talk art. Oh, let's talk like philosophy. Like, oh, let's talk childhood trauma. Oh, let's figure out how I can be better. You know, like all of these things. What book are you reading?
Yeah,
those are the things that do really get me, and and I can blend in with some of the other stuff. And sometimes you have to have that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is just.
Do you ever find yourself being the guy trying to literally pull out in-depth conversation, like when you're talking with people and they just doesn't work, and it goes back to, I like to use the term regurgitated headlines. Yeah. Because I feel like most people just want to sit there and talk to you about whatever the fuck has come across their screen today. You know what I mean?
They're like, did you hear about what Biden said, what Trump said?
Exactly. No substance to it. Yeah. Just regurgitated bullshit that they've seen. Yeah. You know, and
here's my opinion based on the news organization.
For sure. Like, for sure. No, and I made a post recently because I'm totally over the politics of this country. I don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah. And I feel like everybody is all just, it's the same fucking bird. You're all just fighting each other. I'm over it. And so a lot of people on, you know, job sites where they want to talk politics, where I'm like, hey, let's not talk politics. And I'll ask a question. I'll be like, what? Because a lot of guys I work with, they're from like Guatemala or Mexico or other places. And so I'll ask them a question. Like, let's talk about your favorite thing in your country, you know, and like get them on a substance, you know, and try and pull something out of them that maybe is interesting to us to learn about them or something, you know. And I'm doing that in my life in general, is I'm just trying to have more substance about what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. and knowledge and like having really in-depth conversations.
Yeah.
Because I feel like society is getting dumbed down.
Yeah.
Tremendously.
Especially ours.
Oh, dude, it's insane. And
which is another thing I like about podcasts is because podcasts has reignited
for sure
a lot of interest in conversations. And then you have these ones that are getting really big where they have these scientists and 100%. These fucking, philosophers 100%. And these, just all magicians, like, like falling in love with I fell in love with David Blaine watching him on Joe Rogan.
Yep.
And I'd seen him my whole life. I was like, fuck this guy. I don't really like him.
Yep.
And then I heard him on Joe Rogan. And then I was introduced to his fascination for the human potential.
For sure.
And I was like, holy fuck this guy. So just here, I was like, I got to go see, I went to his show. I was like, oh, let me see what like a guy who has dedicated 30 years of his life to being like, to pushing his body to the ultimate potential and let me watch him live. I was like, oh my God.
Well, think about that in the sense of anything that somebody has put 30 years into.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to be around and like any topic that somebody could give me 30 years of knowledge on?
Yep.
I'd love to talk to you about. I don't care what the fuck you do.
Exactly.
Like,
so it comes from like a fascination and I mean, keeping that curiosity, keeping that belief in that, like you don't have to be in this structure.
You don't.
I love that.
Everybody in society is, not everybody, but the majority of society right now is on this path that is a game. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been fed this, that, and the other, and they are chasing that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas then there's a part of society with guys like you and me and others where we see through it. And we're like, no, like this is my one life. Like there's so much more to that than this structure you're telling me about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And opening up your mind and consciousness to that. This is our one life. Why do we want to listen and be honed in when we've seen example after example of it? Our parents, our grandparents, all a part of this machine. What did our grandparents, did your grandparents do anything interesting in life and like have anything that was successfully like landed forever? I don't know if yours did. Mine don't.
Yeah.
The majority of people I know, they don't.
Yeah.
You're going to have stuff later in life, much like I have stories and things that I've done that later in life are tangible.
Yeah.
We were there, we did it, we experienced it, we went through so much stuff to learn and do and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We're going to have those stories when we're older that like we didn't waste our lives.
Yeah. Dude, what you said too is a really good reminder. Like, even if you believe in reincarnation, you still only consciously of this life.
100%.
Right. So even if like we do get born again, like that's going to be your future self.
100%.
So right now you still only have this one.
100%.
And I have kind of continuously remind myself of that. I'm like, dude, this is why I don't want to live in Boise my whole life. I don't want to live somewhere else my whole life. I want to experience this city. I want to experience that country. and this is why I can't stick to anything all the time, and this is why I don't think you should worry too much about that, because I'm just like, you know what, I learned how to DJ.
Yep.
Now for me, I'm learning how to podcast. I learned how to do photo video.
Yep.
I'm gonna play some music again. I want to so we only have this one. Like, do I want to fucking just dedicate it to making $3 million?
Right.
For what?
For what? And then you get hit by a car one day and it's all for naught.
And then the other thing that I'm reminded of with that is that it's like the death poll, where they ask them like, what are your biggest regrets of life?
Right.
And all of the different interests that have ever been like studied, polled, etc., they all boil back to, I wish that I spent more time doing things I love. I wish I spent more time with the people I loved.
For sure.
I wish I didn't work as much.
For sure.
I wish I chose to be happy. Like that. Yeah. Like none of it was about, I wish I made more money. I wish I made a bigger company. Like it was always back to, wish I did the things I loved. I wish I spent time enjoying the life.
The structure you're setting up, I just had this thought in my head of your skills. Okay. So you have camera skills, photography skills, videography skills, podcasting skills, conversation skills. You can talk to anybody. Dude, this is perfect for that mindset, because you could end up on a beach in Costa Rica next year interviewing fucking interesting locals there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the way your path is right now and the way you have structured, I think is super cool. And whatever comes of all of this, just don't ever let it die. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. Oh, sorry. What? One more thing that I was thinking that reminded me.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm not going to be a promoter anymore.
Yeah.
One of my favorite podcasters, his name's Chris Williamson. He has 1,200 episodes. He's one of the biggest podcasters on the planet right now. I'm not saying you need to podcast, but one of the things he's just like, he took a bunch of lessons from what he did and he applied it to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're not going to do promoting anymore doesn't mean all of that lessons, like those are gonna. And so there's one other guy, his name's Naval. He's like a kind of philosophical dude, but he's like, it's hard to be the best football player like in life.
Right.
Like, there's only one.
Right.
But could you be the best football player who was also the best announcer,
Right.
which then becomes like an ESPN guy? Could you be the best this? So you're taking multiple things. And so he was talking to Rogan. He's just like, you have this MMA, and then you have this acting, and then you have this comedy, and now you have this podcast. Like, you wouldn't just be a good podcaster if you didn't have the other things. Like, you take all of these learning, like from this decade and this decade, and then it culminates into where you are. Yeah. And so that's where I'm like encouraged. I'm like, oh, I have this music background. I have this photography background. Like, and I don't even know where my future lies. I'm like, there's something that I might like, all of this stuff can culminate into something else.
It's funny you say that because so many people that have known me a long time, they tell me, they're like, dude, are you really just going to let these life skills like go to waste? I'm like, no, I have a tool belt, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You're just adding tools.
Yeah. So like, it's funny you mentioned announcing because like I played football on my football team. And then I eventually quit playing. I was a coach, recruiter, team guy. But then I started announcing football games because like announcers wouldn't show up. They'd be like, hey, can you just like announce?
Yeah.
Sure. And I go up in the booth and then everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was a great job. And I'm like, oh, well, now I have this other talent because I know football so well. Yeah. I can be up there and talk about everything that's going on and blah, blah. So you're totally right, dude. And like, I fully expect that my promotion career and all that will come back around full circle because I have dreams in life to do things for like kids programs and stuff like that. So who knows? I might end up running a nonprofit someday. I might all of those skills, you know? You never know.
I know somebody who wants to create like a kids festival.
Dude.
I want to create a kids summer camp for like
do you know how
festival.
Yes.
Have you on the workshops.
Yes.
It's like maybe teach
less drug culture. 100%.
On the workshops, sustainability, somewhere out in nature, and I do think that like our scene that they have kids now.
Yep.
And so I think it makes
then honestly, still having DJs and fucking.
If like a little mini festival, and then
If you ever told me that I could take my son somewhere where he could go and be around like a bunch of hippie chicks and women teaching him all sorts of cool stuff and music and art and culture, and it's like a week long, dude, my kid is there because there is so much dynamic to the scene.
And then have like a lot of like backing, like friends or
psychologists,
social workers, stuff like that.
So I know we got to cut this because of time and all that stuff, but you just brought up another thing that I'm very passionate about is getting at fucking kids when they're younger.
Yeah, that's something
like, you know what I mean? Like getting these children that are in these situations, in these homes, and just fucking like giving them a fucking chance and a shot. You know what I mean? And like, I don't feel like the structure in society where it's like, oh, you have a school counselor, you can go talk to your school counselor. I ain't going to fucking talk to a counselor next to the principal's office.
Right.
Like, like they're so swamped with everything, they don't even see the kids that need the help.
Oh, for sure. So I would love to see that. I'd love to see more of that. I honestly, like I was telling you, I don't know what I'll end up doing, but my future definitely includes like trying to use my skills to help kids in the community with whatever that looks like. I don't know, but there needs to be societal changes in helping these children a lot sooner. Not just getting them out into the fucking world and then it's just chaos for them. And then the doctor's like, oh, just take this, just take that, just take that. Like we need to get at the root of these kids. And then the talent and creativity, like we talked about, it gets killed so fucking early. Dreams get dashed and all these things happen to these children. And then they become adults, and that's why our fucking mental health in this country is insane, So.
Dude, that's what you were saying about like one of the biggest inspirations for me was Gary Vee. Like, oh, you can you can do this now.
Yeah.
You can change your career now.
Fuck yeah.
And then my second is Jelly Roll, who won the CMA at like 39. And he's like, if a 39-year-old?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, fuck it, dude. I want to start making music again. And I was like, I could have a hit at 48.
Yep.
Like, it probably didn't used to be that way.
Right.
But now it is.
Yeah,
like the gatekeepers are starting to disappear. Like, music is starting to become more all ages.
Yep.
Young people like old music. Like, some of the old people at raves. Like, so it's not just, you have to be an 18-year-old like superstar anymore.
Right.
And then you see Jelly Roll, and I'm just like, dude, yeah, I could write a hit at 45.
100%.
Doesn't matter.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing that society does to people is that, that fear of like, people are still so fearful of rejection or being like somebody talking shit about what they want to do. Stop giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I had to get to. Of everything I've done, I've always had that social anxiety and fear. And that's why it never progressed more, because I was killing it in ways.
Yeah.
And that was another thing we didn't get on the topic, but like, I self-sabotaged myself. I was having successes in so many different areas, but like I would self-sabotage it, and I never understood fucking why. Now I understand why, so I can avoid doing that anymore. But
it is crazy.
Here we are.
I haven't got to the level of success where I'm gonna self-sabotage yet, but I think that does happen to almost everyone.
I mean,
I read a Will Smith's book. No, was it Will Smith? No, Matthew McConaughey's book. He's fascinating. He got like success pretty quick,
right.
And he's just like, I just fell into this and it just started working.
Right.
And then he started doing like the self-sabotage. He's like, I don't deserve any of this.
Right.
And so then he started self-sabotaging. So the lesson he says, he's like learning how to run downhill, because like he's like, oh, you're going. He's like, yeah,
fucking A. Yeah, there's times where like you get something going and then it's like it's doing so well that, at least for me, if when's the fuck up gonna happen? Like, when is this going to be ripped away from me? Or when is the person going to come in and tell me that I'm fucking this all up? Or like, you know what I mean? Like those mental battles. So yeah.
And then you manifest them.
Yeah. Basically, that's the thing that I had to realize is you manifest terrible shit in your life when you think terrible shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. The human brain, dude. I hope everybody in life can kind of figure out eventually that like, it's not you. You know, like things happen to you that made you who you are or why you think the way you do. And I just hope that everybody will figure out eventually that like, just do whatever the fuck you want, man.
Yeah.
Like do whatever the fuck you want. I got really talented friends that will never amount to shit because they're just terrified to even try.
Yeah.
You know?
It is wild.
Yeah.
I remember even in college, there was a couple guys that were insane on guitar. I was like, I cannot believe that they aren't like some sort of level of success.
No.
But yeah, I mean the fear of starting or they didn't want to chase it. Oh, I will never make, I can't compete.
Right.
Whatever. Like there's all these fears and then like going back to earlier where you're just like also the squashed of the dreams, it's like as you get older, they're like, no, be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, I just saw you shred like nobody else's business over like all this stuff and better than 99.9% of the guitar players out there, and you don't even want to chase it at all because you don't think you're going to be good enough? Or?
Well, they say that, let's use the NFL, right? Or basketball. They say the players that you see in the NFL and the NBA, a majority of them, yes, they are the best. But in the grand scheme of how many people are out there in the world that are on that level of talent, there's thousands of them running around that never got that far because they never felt good enough. Had opportunity, had parents that cared.
The culmination of all that, yeah.
So like everybody's situation is different, and that's where we as society have to stop looking and being like, oh, look at this A-list actor, he's the best on the planet. No, his life, road, and opportunity got him there. But there's thousands of them running around this planet.
Yeah.
Just
not better. But
don't have enough self conscience, or you know what I mean, like
didn't have the right mentor,
didn't have the
right
mentor,
family life,
are sitting in a house right now just playing out some of the best ballads you'd ever hear in your life, but they'll never show the world. Or, you know what I mean? So
because they couldn't get over the fear of rejection.
So I love that you're not letting fear or anything stop you from just doing it.
Yeah, dude, I have a lot. Like I didn't even know it was possible. Like, so I've said this before too, but like when we looked at people that either made it or rich or just did something a little bit more successful in like what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I just was ingrained early. I was like, oh yeah, they got lucky. You know, like all of success was luck. I was never taught that you could work hard.
Right.
Like, cause my dad was a hard worker, but he didn't learn the lesson that you worked hard and you actually got somewhere because he never got anywhere. And his dad like came from depression. So it's like, no, you work hard to put food on the table.
Right.
You don't pay somebody for something you can do yourself.
Right.
My dad would spend so much time not like outsourcing and just like, oh, like we could do it ourselves.
Right.
And, like, but we work hard, but like he worked so hard, or so he felt, and he never got anywhere. It's just like, it's just turning the wheel in the fucking mud.
Well, you can.
So I was always taught those guys are lucky. You just work to put food on your table.
Those cycles are, they never gave your dad or anybody, you know, our parents, they never gave themselves opportunity.
Yeah.
They got in the mindset of like, nope, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about the system, the way of society. They get stuck in that and they buy into it. And then their years go by and their brain just shifts.
Yeah.
All their dreams go away. And they're locked in on this is who I am and this is what I do every day.
Yeah.
And the brain, like we talk about, is such a fucking weird thing that's how you end up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you just wake up every day and tell yourself, like, even if you're working a shit job and you don't like that job, but you have to for necessity or whatever, man, just wake up every day and work on something else.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to work on this job and then I still am going to play piano.
Yes.
Or like I'm still going to fucking
you have to
go, you know, throw the football, whatever the fuck you like to do.
Yeah, you have to. And I say this now, but like I literally lost a few years of my life because I was so like, just everything I was going through and stuff, I just told myself that I didn't want to do anything. And I got stuck in the cycle of like, woe is me, I got the health issues, I'm just working every day to like support this family or blah, blah. And then one day I woke up and I was like, dude, I'm fucking killing myself. Like I'm doing this to myself. And just through books and counseling and reading and stuff, I think there's a flip that I finally was able to switch off in my head. That's like,
dude, that's fucking awesome.
You know, like you can do whatever the fuck you want in life. And some people are going to hate you for it. Some people are going to like talk shit on you for it. Some people are going to leave your life because like, I just can't understand. Like this fucking just wants to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know, it's like,
yes.
Yeah. You know, like, you know, and it's like, well, I'm not here for you to understand me. So, you know, you don't want to be around anymore. Cool. See you later. It was a fun time, you know, but like, I'm going through that a lot right now with just the change, you know, from being a full on party animal promoter for so long and having so many people around. Now my circle's down. Like I know what my circle is, and that's such a good feeling to be in life. And I know what the extended circle is. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not trying to live in a world where trying to take care of all this. I'm like in here now, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, you know. So
yeah, dude, it's such a good path.
Yeah,
like good for you.
Well, and I like,
dude, that's
continue this, bro. Like for real. I really think that this will turn into something for you, and in a couple of years, you'll be sitting on beaches somewhere doing this shit, man.
Yeah, I will definitely film one on a beach. That's for sure.
You need to.
Yeah.
Well, one idea I had for you here, what I think would be a super cool podcast, is you convince one of the skyscrapers or one of the buildings downtown to let you go up to the roof and set up for a night.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Or like Highlander or
Highlander.
What's another top one?
Like a super awesome like rooftop podcast at night would be so dope.
Yeah, because I've done a couple on location and I like doing it. Like so, well, yeah, there's definitely gonna be more. Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I speaking of campfires, I do want to do. We almost did one of the camping sessions.
That'd be sick.
And I'll probably just do one camera, set it, and then there's the fire, and it goes through the flames, and you're just like leaning over the fire, just chit chatting.
Yeah.
I
love that.
Sounds fun. Yeah.
Well, so here, I don't know if you'd even be into it, but making like a sub category of your podcast where like the campfire ones are like maybe
campfire sessions number one.
Yeah, like you know, just a different dynamic from the Nobody's podcast campfire session. Or,
Nobody's on the road.
Yeah.
Actually, we almost did. Me and Cameron almost did that one. But yeah, like in the car, setting up and then just chit chat. Yeah.
I would even say too, man, being a bartender, it would be very difficult in that type of setting. But how cool would it be if you were just like had a little setup in a corner and like
Yeah.
you're just conversating with people.
We literally, I literally have this idea at my bar because I'm friends with so many people. So I'm going to take over a table. I just need to do it. But then instead of having one guest, I'm going to have like each of like whoever wants to come 20 minutes at a time, just shoot the shit for a little bit, like tell some jokes.
That'd be awesome.
Whatever.
Dude.
And I'll just have like the corner set up and we just go in and out.
Now, the other idea I have too is I think it would be super awesome if you did this at one of the events, like at Tree Fort, convince Brando or something to let you have a corner.
Oh, yeah.
And then the podcast is just random people at the event. And they just be like 5-10 minutes, just sit down, and you just conversate while you're at the event. Who are you?
What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. I honestly think that would take off.
Either.
Here's why I think that too. Because if you do that at a local event, people are there. They're going to be like, okay, where can I see this footage?
Then they go.
Then they're going to go find it. They're going to share it. Mm-hmm. So like,
they're going to be like, there's a bunch of girls that are going to be like, or like the poopsie and kids are going to be like, oh my God, let's take a little video.
Oh, well then, but then it reaches out further in this community, right? Because that's the goal, right?
Yeah, see it. And that's what I've been trying to work on lately is like I've been doing a lot of them. I'm getting way better at it, but my marketing game is still like, and now I'm like, okay, so how do I start building? And I've had a lot of good friends, ideas, influence of, okay, so how do I start to, now is the time, my quality of content is good. My conversational skills are good. My like camera work is good. So now how do I start branching out?
I even envision you on 6th and Main, dude. Just like, Nobody's podcast on the corner. Do you remember? I don't know. Well, actually, you said you grew up in kind of a cult, so you probably didn't watch like Showtime and stuff like that. Okay.
Not growing up.
So back in the day, I can't remember what it was called, but Showtime had like this late night TV show where it was like this guy just down on streets where clubs are at and stuff and just interviewing people. And like, it was fucking awesome. Yeah. So I just imagine like, nobody's on 6th and Main just. And people was walking by, hey, sit down for a minute, just off the street, just interviewing.
Yeah, dude, I like that too.
But the main thing is with the marketing, right? You just have to get the name in front of people. What happened to your Nobody sign? The pink one.
No, I didn't have one.
Use a different sign.
I think it's I'll show you my other sign.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get a Nobody sign.
I thought you had a sign.
Yeah, but I do want to get a neon. And then my buddy Ian is building this like art piece that he said is done. He works for HP. But,
nice. Well, I just think, anytime you can get your logo out in front of people, but open up to the public more and like do this in public realms locally, because that's how people are going to start spreading it. You know what I mean? Like, you have like a card, like, hey, okay, I'm going to upload this here. This way you can find it. And they have a card, and then they start passing it. And then people might even start hitting you up, like, hey, can I get on this podcast? Or, hey, I'm a local business owner. I wanted to talk about it. Or so. Anyway.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I appreciate you.
Dude, I appreciate you for coming.